All right, so I think the stream thinking about things ready to go though. So hello everybody, Mega X here, back at it again to give y'all another very exciting podcast episode. That being my ZardCast episode 63. Now, oh boy, there was a lot of stuff that happened within the past, I would say, a couple of weeks because we had everything from a Nintendo Direct to State of Play to the Tokyo Game Show, as well as oh shoot, quite a bit of stuff that managed to leak out from some Xbox leaks thanks to that FDC court case and them trying to acquire Activision Blizzard. It was some like documents that were obviously like retracted, encrypted. Like general public shouldn't have had access to really look at that stuff. Somebody green lighted the make it public or something like that from the Xbox side. So it was this public domain. And since then they took it down, but the internet never forgets. So got a lot of stuff to talk about, at least something big from all the big three, along with a few other things that happened to, pop up within the past couple of weeks though. So whew, it's gonna be a pretty full show, and I got a good handful of different things, pop culture wise, to actually talk about as well though. So I might as well not go ahead and dilly dally and go ahead and jump up in it because quite a bit of stuff to go through tonight. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into that culture segment. All right, Stephen. Well, I guess you jumped in at the right time now, man. Before we talk about these gosh dang aliens, how's your week been, man?
My week has been good, I think. Playing F-Zero 99 has been fun. Work has been kind of annoying because they switched me to different days, but now I'm off on Mondays and Tuesdays, so I'm finally free. Free for 2 days at least.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I know it's been a
I
while since
mostly,
I
I most, at least game-wise, I've mostly just played through Resident Evil 2 again, because my family, like my dad was playing it, so I was like, you know what, I want to try playing it again. It was good.
oh yeah. Well, yeah. We're now in the fall. Yeah, no, yeah. Halloween's right around the corner though. I think I got some stuff planned out on the channel, at least a little bit of stuff. But we'll probably talk about all that once we get to the games of
I
what we've
got
been
some
playing.
games planned to play.
No, yeah, it's about that time of season. I'm glad it's finally cooling down because oh shoot, it's
It's
been
been
hot this
raining.
summer.
It's been raining here for 2 straight days. Thank God, finally.
Wait, hold on. Don't y'all have like a tropical storm or something heading up that way or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. It's like it's tropical storm. Ooh la 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 la. I don't know. They got weird names nowadays. But it's a tropical storm that's coming up here. Thank God we have just anything besides bright sunlight, because I got really bad sunburn on the weekend, and I don't want to have it happen again.
I always find it kind of funny with y'all's weather up there. You talking about getting sunburned up there, and you're all like way far north from like comparison to where I'm at. I just find that funny.
It's mostly just because I'm white as hell. My whole family, they have at least a little bit of a tan for the most part, and I stay inside a lot. So it just was a bad recipe.
Goodness. All right, well let's go ahead and talk about these aliens. 'Cause I don't know if you've been keeping up with some of this stuff that's been happening. I feel like it's been like what the past month or so. I mean, there were some things I kind of saw, and I think well, no, the podcast before this one, I think it was kind of before we got this latest update though. But apparently, some Mexican court case or something down there in Mexico, they busted open like two weird old coffins and said we had some allegedly 1,000-year-old aliens up in here, and they opened up the case, and then I don't know what to make out of this. I feel like, to be honest, that's just a mummified little child that was deprived of food, and they just look like that. That's what my gut's telling me. But what about you, man? Have you seen all this stuff?
I'm looking up the image now, and it looks extremely small. But
No, yeah.
like I don't know,
Ugh.
it could be anything. Could be a hoax, could be just completely fabricated and a model that somebody made, could be an alien, obviously. Like oh, I think the thing that makes no sense is like, people saying this is an alien. Like why do people have this idea of what aliens will look like?
I think
is
it's
what I
just
don't
mainly
get.
because of those, like the movies and stuff. Like as we grew up and started seeing different stuff from like
Yeah,
aliens and you get all this weird stuff. I know Terminator deals with robots and stuff, but you get those kind of movies and stuff like that, and people just kind of get that perceived notion up in their mind.
yeah.
So that's what that's all the public really knows.
But
Even if there were aliens, they probably wouldn't even look like what we see in the movies and stuff.
I feel like if there were aliens, we just wouldn't understand them at all. They probably would just have completely different ways that they live. They probably wouldn't drink anything or eat anything. They would probably just, like think about it like this, like different animals on our planet are vastly different, but still share like bodily systems. Like,
Yeah. So
most animals on Earth, no matter how different they are, need water, need some kind of food, need to breathe, have a lung, like have similar things. But then you go down in the sea, things that are more disconnected from like air and stuff up here. And you see some of those weird creatures. You see how like there's like millions of species of jellyfish that are undiscovered or whatever they always say.
no, they need to quit investing and putting all that stuff up with aliens and stuff. That could be a hoax at the end of the day, though. But the stuff that lives
Yeah.
deep down in the emotions, like
But
you be seeing some weird stuff on Twitter. You see these weird kind of fishes, or like what you said about these what these
yeah.
jellyfishes and stuff. There's some weird stuff down in the deep sea that we hadn't even seen. So I'm
But
more
yeah,
worried about that stuff down there.
if
Probably
but
worried about
yeah,
some aliens.
and I'm not even gonna say if aliens are real because obviously life on other planets is real, but like there's a very low possibility it's gonna look like this, like eerily close to what Hollywood says aliens look like. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah.
why would real aliens have a very low possibility of actually looking like what Hollywood portrayed them as?
Oh no, yeah, it's like a it'll be like 0.00. How many zeros you want to say, then one.
Enough. Like
Yeah.
in the infinite possibilities of the universe, like we get aliens that look like that. I don't know. An alien, like an actual realistic alien, would be something that we wouldn't be able to comprehend. Like we probably would just be like, "What is this? How does this even work? How did this work?" We use like fossils to determine stuff about dinosaurs. Like it would probably be like something like that, where we would get like this body and then assume what covered it.
No, yeah,
If
I
this
would
if this
imagine it would be something like that.
I don't know, if this is a real alien, then like that says a lot. But like I don't know, I think NASA's studying it. It's kind of an interesting little hoax if it's a fake though.
I feel like my gut always keeps telling me it's just a hoax, and it even and the funny thing about all of this,
Probably
before
is.
we switch it over to the next thing is, even if we were looking at the real deal, maybe it's not this image, maybe it was some other image that pops up later in the future. It could be like a week or literally tomorrow or whatnot, though. The way how people can photo edit stuff and the way how we've seen things portrayed in movies and stuff like that, you can put something completely real in front of somebody's face and they'll still be kind of skeptical about whether or not it's even true or not. So it's like even when the news break out one day, I just feel like people just gonna be like, "Oh, that's too good to be true. I think it's still fake." And that's just the funny thing about the whole entire thing. I'm like, Whatever." I can't put too many eggs up into this, but that's just how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's funny looking, I'll say that. I've seen some funny memes about it.
No, yeah. So I can't say I didn't cover this mess. I feel like in terms of pop culture segments, I have to actually mention this because it's interesting seeing people speculating all this mess though. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I think it's just still a hoax. But all right, let's go ahead and roll it to the next thing though, because this one I felt like since this was announced, I had to bring you on. We'll have to get our pre thoughts now, and then
Yeah.
when we finally see the thing, we'll probably talk about it later once we actually watch it though. But apparently, Marvel Studios came out and announced that there is a Lego Marvel Avengers Code Red in the works. I think it's supposed to drop sometime in October. I'm trying to pull this thing back up though, but
October 27th. I am looking at it.
yeah, so I looked at that. I was like, "What the heck?" But you know what? Considering what was it, that small little bit of a Lego segment that we got, what was it in that Spider-Man Miles Morales movie?
Across the Spider-Verse, yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
What?
just seeing a little snippet of that, I'm like, wait a minute, if they could basically do a little bit of that, but obviously with our whole cast of regular Avengers crews, like, it could be interesting. It could be interesting.
Okay.
I ain't gonna demote it, but I'm
im-
like, it could
Here's
be
the thing
cool.
though. This is a Disney Plus thing, and these are usually low budget, so it's not gonna look as nice as something like that, I bet, but we'll see. We don't know anything about it relatively. It comes out a
No.
day after Loki,
Oh, wait, you said
like season
October.
2 of Loki.
Mm, wait, you said Lego Marvel
October
Avengers
20,
come out 27th, right?
27th.
No,
Yeah.
Loki. Oh no, Loki season 2 starts not this Friday, but the next Friday.
Oh, then I guess maybe it's I don't know, it's
Unless
like
you're
one
talking
of the
about the series
I guess I see
finale,
an
but
episode. Who knows? It's one of the episodes of Loki and then a day after um
because I think
this
Loki
thing.
is gonna, instead of them premiering those on Wednesday nights, I think they're doing them on Friday nights now, which is kind of odd because we started on Fridays and it shifted to Wednesdays, and now we're rolling back to Fridays. I think
I
Star
don't know.
Wars kind of partially messed that up, but yeah.
When I was a kid on Cartoon Network, I think new episodes always premiered on like Thursdays or so. I forgot what the day was.
No, for me it was Friday. I don't know about you, but for me it was always Friday. Like those were the Cartoon Network days.
I'm assuming they did it because kids could ponder it over the weekend or like keep
Or
watching.
slash, I think they reran it maybe a couple or few times over the weekend or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But back to what I was gonna ask, because you were talking about how it's gonna look, and because like it might look good. Have you ever seen the Lego Movie before? Out of curiosity,
Yes, I have. It's been a hot
that
minute, but I
movie,
have.
that movie is so beautiful and it looks so nice. It is by far one of the animated movie, like one of the best crafted animated movies I've ever seen. Just with how inventive the visuals are, how much work they had to put into it. When there's a scene that's like if there's a boat in water, it's like all of the individual pieces in the water are animated. Like it's crazy the detail that went into that movie. Even though with the medium, and they actually did stuff with it. They didn't just do Lego for the sake of it being Lego. They told a story. They could at the I don't know if you remember the ending of the movie, but they have like live action segments that kind of tie it all together nicely.
No,
A
yeah,
very Lego movie is a very like good movie, and the art style of Lego lends itself very well to like very creative visuals.
no, yeah, I think there's a lot of potential in it because at least from like what you said with the Lego movie, and I know there's like a handful of good Lego games as well, which has some cool stuff up in there. I was about to say, the Lego
Um,
series can do some good stuff here and there. So I'm kind of curious because I mean, lately I've been thinking about, everything we've been having within the MCU and whatnot, though. I'm just kind of pondering. I'm like, is this the next Avengers movie even going to be good, concerning the fact how we don't really have like a what's the word I'm looking for? Connectivity, tissue, bonds, and stuff between some of the. Obviously, there is some connections between some of these, Marvel superheroes, but not a lot, especially considering some of these newer characters and stuff like that. So I'm like, but at least seeing this with the Avengers Code Red, this is probably going to be like, a makeshift team of our current old existing heroes, like probably Iron Man, Captain America. They're probably going to show back up in this one, though. Obviously, you don't
yeah,
have to use the same, voice actors as like Chris
I
Evans or Robert Downey Jr. or nothing
they
like that. But
won't.
yeah,
They will
no,
not.
because
They're not getting
I
them
don't even
back for
think
Lego.
they did that for the what if. I don't even think they did that for the what if. So I'm thinking like a what if
Well,
scenario,
they got
but with
some people
Lego.
back.
Yeah, they
Like
did get some. Like I remember.
for example, wait, what?
Oh no, I remember with T'Challa's,
Yeah,
voice act like Chadwick Boseman. I remember they recorded lines before he passed away. So stuff like that. But yeah,
I think they had Benedict Cumberbatch for Doctor Strange and What If. I think.
I sounded like his voice. I think I can't fully
I'm
remember.
checking because I know they had Spider-Man in that show, but like no Tom Holland. Like they kind of got around have not be they got around their little Sony contract by having a Spider-Man that wasn't Tom Holland. The
Oh
original.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so Nebula's voice actor, Loki's voice actor, and Doctor Strange's voice actor were all the same. I can't. I don't know. I think Wikipedia won't lie to me. I
No,
think
don't you dare say that. That thing lies all the time, man.
I yeah, that's true. I think Chris Hemsworth came back to play Thor. Like
It sounded like him, I
there's a
guess.
decent amount of smaller actors that came back for their roles. I know Josh Brolin came back as Thanos.
Oh no, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
they were. I will say, I respect how like much work they put into it because they got a lot of people back for their actors. Um, but yeah, Iron Man was played by somebody else. Uh, they got basically everyone else. They got Jeff Goldblum from his Thor Ragnarok role. They got like um James Gunn's brother to do that one Guardians character. I can't find the single person they didn't get besides Captain America and Iron Man. So maybe, especially since this is a Disney Plus production, they could get people back.
Yeah, they technically could. I expect
Like,
some, just not
well,
all. Something
well,
similar
yeah,
to
like
What If, yeah.
I totally expect Thor's voice actor, Chris Hemsworth to continue because he's still got movies lined up for them. I think they already confirmed the fourth Thor 5. Might be wrong on that.
I'm pretty sure, I think. I don't know if they
Yeah, I
fully no, 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 they did. They said Thor will return, but I don't know if it's, like, more like the Thor will return in the Avengers movie, but it's not like we're
yeah,
getting
but
that
he's
Thor
gonna come back.
5 anytime soon, but yeah, he will eventually come back,
Yeah,
yes.
Chris Hemsworth will come back as Thor. But yeah, they got basically everyone back in that show. So maybe this will surprise me because I don't know, as a direct cuz I know it's Disney Plus and all, but I'm just calling all these Disney Plus specials what they really are, Zard, and they're direct to TV movies. That's what they are. If TV was still around, these would be direct to TV movies. So
Mhm.
I kind of treat I
I
kind of
mean, yeah,
treat them
I
like
mean,
that.
it'll be kinda like, what's that one show? Avengers,
Werewolf by
Agents
Night.
no,
Oh,
no, I wasn't thinking about that. No, when you said TV shows, I was thinking of Avengers or not Avengers, are what do they call them?
I just think like TV.
Marvel's Agents of Shield. That
Well,
was
yeah,
technically a TV show that was on ABC. Remember that? So it would
well,
have been
yeah,
something akin to that if TV was still as big as it was compared to where we're at now with
yeah.
subscription based services being the big thing now.
I
But
just
yeah.
mean like a direct to TV movie, like a movie you'd watch, like like a movie like exclusive to a TV network.
Oh,
Like
I could see that with maybe a couple, not all of them, but some
I
of
don't know,
them I
like
could see
well, I
it
just meant like
maybe.
Werewolf by Night
I
and
mean, yeah,
this.
that definitely would have been, yeah.
They're doing more Marvel ones, and who knows, could be good. It really just depends on how like who they get to do the Lego stuff. Because the guy that they got in Spider-Verse, he was a very passionate kid who did a really good job of translating the Lego style. But the people that did the Lego movie, they're not doing this obviously. So,
We'll just have to wait
and
and see.
I don't know, and all the other like Lego Marvel like specials and shows, they don't really look all that great. They're just Lego for the sake of selling toys instead of being Lego for the sake of having creative visuals.
Mhm.
It's kind of like, Lego Ninjago, which is a show I actually like, doesn't even really do a good job at justifying the art style.
And yet you still somehow watch that show a crap
You're damn
ton.
right.
Oh,
You're
good
damn right.
gracious.
So in other news, the
I
logo for like the poster for it, it kind of looks like the Age of Ultron logo. I think that's what that's supposed to be, right?
I mean,
Like the Avengers A being
it's just the
broken apart
general Avengers A, yes. But the breaking apart kinda like what you said reminds me of Age of Ultron, so I don't
and the
know,
red color of the
actually, I didn't
logo.
even think about this. Who would be the major antagonist? I think it's just gonna be some makeshift one that we hadn't seen already.
It could
I
just be a
maybe.
retelling of Age of Ultron and
Or
Lego.
it could. I don't know. That's interesting. I hadn't even thought about that.
Just because I'm pretty sure the only time like the Avengers logo being red also works with that.
Yeah.
We'll see
Alright.
though.
Yeah, we'll
I,
see
I'd
though, but I think
I'd
it has
like for it to
potential.
be good.
Yeah, I hope so too, because I think this has potential for it just being a one-off though. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have more stuff to say once we actually manage to see this thing though. But yeah, that's basically gonna do it in terms of that. Now, this next topic right here is actually a little bit of a fusion of pop culture and a little bit of gaming news. So I decided to slide it over here into pop culture stuff
Oh
because
no.
apparently, like every year, roughly around this time, Apple manages to have their Apple event where they kind of showcase off their new Mac computers or earbuds, obviously the phone and everything else in between though. But the one interesting thing that kind of stood out within this one particular Apple showcase was how much they were actually talking about the gaming side of things. And no, I don't mean gaming from like the mobile gaming aspect side of things. I'm talking about legit actual games that we gotten like on the PS4 that's actually running on these mobile phones like this. It's crazy. Because like let me just mention a few of the games that they actually managed to show off that they said are actually coming here fairly soon. So they got Resident Evil 4 remake and RE Village that are coming to the iPhone 15 Pro. They have Assassin's Creed Mirage that's also coming. And and Death Stranding is actually coming over here. That's just a handful of the titles that they said are actually coming to the iPhone
All right.
15 Pro.
So
It's like, what the
so
heck?
the Resident Evil stuff is probably going to be the only worthwhile stuff. Going to be completely honest.
No, yeah, it might be. That would be the most interesting thing. Or out of all the games, I feel like that most people care about, RE is definitely going to be the one that
Well,
stands out.
because those games are also the most replayable. Those games are designed to be played again. Like, they're designed to be played again and memorized and gone through fast. Basically, in every Resident Evil game, Zard, there's an achievement for beating it in under 4 hours. So it's perfect for like a road trip,
No,
I'd
yeah, it
say.
is. So it
But
just
like,
kind of makes me think, it's like, well, the fact that they're able to get these, games that we always thought and envisioned was always going to be on a console, especially RE4 remake. Like that literally came out this, golly, it really did come out
came
this
out
year.
this year,
Oh
yeah.
shoot, I
But
forgot about those games. Dang.
at the same time, with how expensive phones are nowadays, I'd hope you could. Like phones back in the day were like, I don't know how, like I'm assuming some of the older iPhones were only in like the 150, 200 range. But now it's like a thousand. How much is the
Oh no,
iPhone
no,
15?
I think shoot, I didn't even look up prices on that. I feel like if I were to take a guess, I feel like it's like 1500. Hold on, let me look this up.
Checking. Yeah, 1500 for the iPhone 15. No, okay. Depending on the retailer, like
Oh, I was
800
close.
to 1000.
I
But
was kind of
still,
close.
for the Pro Max, with a contract, it's like 1600.
Yeah, I was close. I was close
I could
with that Pro
never
Max.
imagine paying 1600 for a phone. I don't know.
But I think the 15 Pro, just like 128 gigs, is about 1,000.
Yeah.
So,
But
ooh,
I just
good
I just
gracious.
don't get it. It's just the thing. I just don't get it. Like it looks the exact same as the iPhone 14. There is no like substantial
It's always the
reason.
specs inside of it because form factor, like what you said, is usually always the same. I mean, even when I'm not even an iPhone person. I'm technically an Android person. I like my Samsung Galaxies, so I'm on the other side of the fence. But even when I was looking at some of those, like when they made their jump to the 20, that was significant. But I think every iteration after that, there's a reason why you only upgrade your phone once every two or three generations later. Just enough where you
Yeah.
notice your phone kind of slows down and you kind of need something else, and by then you probably already had your previous phone paid off.
But if you properly maintain your phone, it's not going to slow down as fast. Computers don't work like that.
No, yeah.
Computers most computers don't just slow down for the sake of slowing down. It's something you do to them or something that's been constantly done to them.
No, yeah, that's true. Especially considering how I think, well, I'm not used to getting these updates. I know my family members, literally almost every one of my family members, like my brother, sister, mom, and dad. They're all iPhone users. I'm the only one that's Android and stuff like that. But I know a lot of people complained about getting those Apple updates, and when they did that, that kind of almost seemed like it kind of slowed it down. I don't know if it was intentionally slowing it down, if it was kind of a back way for the people to kind of slow it down and say, "Oh, it's time for you to upgrade." I feel like more Apple
Uh,
users upgrade their phones more often than Android users. I know some Android users that are like several generations behind, and their phones are
honestly,
still clicking. So
yeah,
I don't know.
honestly, it does kind of sound like Apple to artificially kill their devices to make you buy the new one. And it works. Have you seen how many like cucks get like so excited about the new iPhone? Oh my God, I have to buy the new iPhone every year. These are people that make far too much money.
No,
You're actually getting
no.
excited about
Even
the
if I
new
had all the money in
iPhone.
the world, I was like, I would not constantly upgrade.
It's
It's a pain in the
it's
butt just to
pathetic.
transfer and move all your stuff, either your files or your accounts and cards that might be. It's a pain. I really don't like to upgrade my phone unless it's absolutely time to do it though. But like,
Yeah,
oh shoot. But
it
back o-
sucks.
back on topic though. But yeah, it's crazy how we're almost in the age where now it's like AAA games are almost going to be possible to play on modern day phones. So it's like, I guess if you get like a backbone, get a Bluetooth controller or something like that, and before you know it, it's like you're gonna have that kind of switch form factor just with mobile phones. Here not too far away though. It's kind of crazy to think about it. You know, I remember the days where I used to whip out. Steven, you probably don't know about this though, but I used to have like a BlackBerry phone when I was in like junior high, like with the
I know what
trackball
a
and everything.
BlackBerry is.
You might know what it is, but I sure
I
never you didn't even
remember
put
my
your
pair.
hands
I
on them.
remember. Yes, I have. Like
You sure?
when you flip open a phone, like a like you slide an actual keyboard out from inside the phone.
Okay, okay. I'm surprised you knew
Yeah.
about that. Okay.
Well, I'm not that much younger. I was born in 2003. I was in 2009 when I was a kid, and I have stuff I remember. Like when you're about around 6 is when you start actually remembering stuff, really. And yeah,
Mhm.
I very vividly remember like being in North Carolina, seeing like my cousins and like them, like their father having like a BlackBerry phone and playing like Breakout on it.
Goodness. No, yeah, but we came a long way with smartphones, and I guess now we're about to get enter the age of AAA games on your phones. Kind of crazy where
Yeah,
we all started from, and now where we're
and
where we at. Ugh.
honestly, on one hand I get it, but on one hand I really did like the simple mobile games of the past. Stuff like Temple Run and Subway Surfers that was just
Man, I threw down
simple
on some.
fun.
I threw down on some Temple Run, the old Candy Crush, Flappy Bird, all that mess. Those were simple times, man.
But
Simple
like
good
now you have to
times.
make an account for everything, this and that. Angry Birds was also a great
Oh, Angry
one, but
Birds
like
was.
now
Oh, yeah, I threw down with that too.
it's just the tedium of gaming nowadays, especially on phones. Like I don't ever want to play a game on my phone when I could have less trouble just playing it on my computer.
No, yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true.
And like they make everything like a grind fest now. I'd rather have arcade style games than grinding games where
It's all about the gotcha now, man. It's all about
well,
the
like
gotcha.
there are some games that handle it well. Like back when Clash of Clans came out, it was a novel concept, like building something and having it take a real time. You know what I mean? Have you ever
Yeah.
played Clash of Clans?
No, yeah, no, I threw down on that
Yeah.
mess too.
Yeah,
I
when
had
you
like
like
I had a huge clan up there. I did not spend any
yeah.
money. I slowly built that thing up where it's pretty good. And then I put it down for a
Yeah.
year and then looked back and saw how many upgrades it did. I was like, yeah, no, I can't I can't invest
But
any more time up in this thing.
but it
But
was
yeah, it was
honestly
good.
just like it was a satisfying feeling, like getting on, upgrading your like one upgrade for the day, doing like, a raid of like a base or something. It felt satisfying when you like look at your base a month later and you're like, wow, I really improved a lot. I really did a lot. Like it was small, but like phone games weren't supposed to be like the only thing you play back in the day. Well, now it's like I've seen like games with battle passes on phones, and I just don't get it.
No, man.
You really spending that much time on your phone that you gotta buy a battle pass for your phone game?
Yeah. Oh goodness. Well, I think that's pretty much all we have to say on that Apple event thing. I don't
Yeah.
know. The fact that they got AAA games, they probably shouldn't be too far behind until the next Samsung phone comes out, and they basically got the same equivalent. I'm kind of looking forward to that because I kind of want to test that stuff out myself, just personally though. But yeah, so some interesting stuff. We'll definitely have to keep our eyes on this though. But that's pretty much it in terms of all the pop culture stuff I had lined out for y'all. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and transition over to what's in the gaming news. All right, so Steven, we got to talk about this Mario Kart Tour because
Yes.
apparently, well, I don't know why you got super excited because it's a little unfortunate news that yeah, it's not getting any more content updates.
What do you
It's time.
mean?
Well, I guess
The
no
nightmare
no
is
no.
over.
I guess it's bittersweet because technically the people that worked on Mario Kart Tour, obviously you had like a dedicated mobile team that are used to making mobile games. Obviously they worked on it. However, you had a I don't know how big a amount of employees were from Nintendo, but you had some of the people that actually made the mainline Mario Kart tours actually help with the development and the stuff and resources that went into making the Mario Kart Tour update. So now with them officially, shutting it down in terms of not shutting it down in terms of you playing it. No, you still have access to playing it. But in terms of getting new updates, this is it. Like, they're breaking that mess down. That fully means that, hey, we're grabbing all these Nintendo employees and we're shoving them on to hopefully Mario Kart 10. I knows how I say
Yeah.
10 because I'm saying Mario
Well,
Kart
yeah,
not
cuz
Tour is 9.
Tor is 9. Like it got like as much as I kind of look back and like despise Tor just for like existing really and not really being what I not kind of being like a disappointing portrayal of Mario Kart. It got a lot of content. It got like a lot of retro courses, a lot of retro a lot of retro courses. Got a ton of carts, ton of like gliders, all that, all of the above. Because in that game you could select gliders, carts, and drivers. You got a ton of alt costumes. And they even till the end, they kept adding like a bit interesting content. Like they just finally released their last city course, I think like a month or two ago. It was the Madrid one, Madrid Drive. And it took
Wait,
them a
wh-
while,
what
but
what
they
city was
did.
that based on?
Madrid, Spain.
Oh, Spain. Okay, okay.
But yeah, took them a while, but they eventually did get all of the data mined content out. But like, yeah, a lot of it was data mined or already known about and just waiting to release. Like that bathroom course was in the code for a while, stuff like that. And obviously, as much as I would be a lot more sad about Tor being done getting content if Booster Course Pass wasn't happening and it was all being brought to a better game. Because Mario Kart Tour, just with its like gold pass stuff, and it used to have
Oh, the whole
tons
thing
of
what
loot
like what Diddy
boxes.
Kong costs like what
Not even
$25,
no,
$25 or something.
no. It's not that Diddy Kong costs $40. It's that Diddy
Oh,
Kong.
40. Oh shoot.
Yes, it's that getting a guaranteed pull of Diddy Kong was $40. That was worse. The
Oh
fact
my
that you needed to rely on luck to get it, and if you didn't get lucky, you had to spend a lot of money, is absurd, is what it is. For a mobile game, nonetheless. It
man,
just, like,
they were
it'd
bananas
be
for
a
that
lot
one.
it would be a lot more enticing if you could unlock everything as you play. It would make me actually turn it on and play it. And I was invested in this game for a while, but I dropped off completely because I just felt like I wasn't getting anything. It felt like it wasn't rewarding to pull it all because I was getting trash. And
No,
a lot
because
more there are games that do it correctly, that like pace it out, but like you at least get a guaranteed good pull every like 5 bad ones.
yeah, because
But
I remember at least when Mario Kart Tour when it first came out, I remember when you had to play the game via vertically. I never was a fan of that. And then lo and behold, several updates later, they were like, "Oh, now you can play it in landscape mode." I was like, "Finally, the
Yeah.
way how Mario Kart
But
should be played."
one of my least favorite things about it really was the whole I don't know if you remember this feature, but on certain courses there are certain drivers that have more item slots.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that.
And that is just annoying. You need to have like if you're unlucky and you just have it if you have not gotten lucky with the gotcha, you would have been completely out of luck. You would just have no characters for the 3 item slots, which would mean you'd be at a disadvantage on if you were playing with friends, which that's a whole nother can of worms that they added multiplayer later on. And I think the same update where they added multiplayer is when I stopped playing just because ran into that situation where I didn't have enough good drivers to actually compete.
Oh yeah,
It wasn't
that
it.
was true. That was true.
I just don't get it. Like it wanted to be a real Mario Kart game so bad, but it was kind of too little, too late. Yeah, the track selection's good though. A lot of good tracks, a lot of cool drivers they added. Those 8-bit, oh not 8-bit, the 16-bit Mario and 16-bit Donkey Kong Jr. they did were really cool animation wise.
Oh yeah, yeah, they
It was
were really cool.
definitely, if we're talking about content, I do think it was Nintendo's biggest mobile game. Like, well, biggest like Mario mobile game because they had Mario Run, which is still kicking, but it's not really like an online game. And then Dr.
Hmm.
Mario World was just completely shut down. I know this game did well. I know it made them a lot of money, but like I would have just preferred if all this effort went into making making content for 8 Deluxe from the start. Like I'd rather imagine if the booster course pass for 8 Deluxe was instead of 48 returning courses, if they had that team just do like 16 new ones. And kind of like 8 did. Make what if 8 Deluxe got a similar thing to 8 where they added 16 new courses, all extremely high quality, and that's what their efforts could have been going to. But like Tour just like went with the whole traveling the world thing, but like some of the courses just feel extremely samey.
No, yeah, and I
But
imagine. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the best thing that Tour gave us are those original tracks. Ninja Hideaway, Merry Mountain, Yoshi's Island, Squeaky Clean Sprint, Sky High Sunday, and the new one, Piranha Plant Pipeline and Piranha Plant Cove. Those like 7 or 8 courses they have that are completely like developed for Tour first are are like fun. They are very fun courses.
Hmm. No, yeah. So I think we managed to get some good stuff out of here. I definitely like some of the tour courses where it was like based upon the city ones, like the Sydney Sprint, and there was like one other one I can't think of the actual name for it though. Maybe it was the
Probably
Vancouver something.
Vancouver,
Yeah, Vancouver, that's the one.
Vancouver Velocity. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a handful of good courses that came out of that luckily came over to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because I was definitely not gonna keep playing that mobile game and whatnot though. But
yeah,
yeah, a little sad to kind of see it not getting any more future updates though. But I think it kind of coincide pretty well considering how the fact that 8 Deluxe's DLC is also concluding as well. And I imagine probably Mario Kart 10 is already done at this point. They've probably already been done with
yeah,
it. This is probably a matter of fact that they probably need to get everybody over and get it optimized for whatever next generation system that Nintendo's about to drop. And who knows if they're looking at, because this is like before 8 Deluxe caught on like on like a blaze of fire or whatnot though, because who knows right now I would imagine Mario Kart 10 probably only has like what 4, 8. The I would say it probably has as many courses in the game as baseline Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has right now. And considering how you have all this DLC that basically doubled the size of the game, and then if you look over here at standard Mario Kart 8, there might be I said Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 10 now. They might be looking at that, be like, We might need to add some more courses up in here, considering how 8 Deluxe got as big as what it is now. So I don't know. They might have to go back and add some more to it, or have plans to add more. But all
For Mario
nonetheless,
Kart
though,
10, you mean?
yeah, for 10.
Well, yeah, if they make a Mario Kart 10, they're definitely going to be like, okay, over time we're going to add more courses. And I think that's the correct play. I think they'd be kind of stupid if they weren't like, at before launch like, okay, we're going to add more. But as long as the game releases with 32, like every Mario Kart beforehand has done, I won't be mad. Because as long as we get 32 high quality courses in the new Mario Kart game, I will be happy. You know what I mean?
Actually, it's
Like
now
let's
48.
well, like you know what I mean, but that's just because it was a port.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 originally did launch with 32.
No, yeah, originally 32, yes.
And honestly, I think it's fine. I think it's Mario Kart has always had that perfect ratio ever since DS of having just enough new content while also remixing the old content because that's really what makes the retro courses actually fun is when they change them up. Like, and let's be honest, when you're playing Mario Kart, you're always going to have your favorites. So, like, even if there's only 16 courses is more than enough for a single play session.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Like, like when I've never gone into a Mario Kart game and been like, "Oh my God, this game doesn't have enough content." They always do a pretty good job at that. And even Tour, my issues with Tour stem from fundamental flaws, like there being only 2 laps per race, even though Mario Kart races aren't even that long anyway.
Oh, oh,
Like
yeah.
it doesn't really allow for that. It doesn't really allow for that Mario Kart chaos of coming back in the third lap and shit.
No, yeah.
Every
So
problem I have with that game is not related to the actual like content in it. Got a lot of cool characters in that game too.
no, yeah. So I think there's a lot of good stuff we can pull from our current tour, but I think we kind of, gave our condolences for the game, though.
Rest
Though
in
it's not
piss.
dying, but yeah, it is what it is. But it's setting off in the sun. Just
Is
like
it?
almost every other I'd say just like every other, what was it, Nintendo mobile game, except for Fire Emblem. My boy Fire Emblem still kicking over there with them updates. Oh shoot. All right, but yeah. Long live the king on that one though. I guess Mario couldn't even beat Fire Emblem on this one though. Or rare Fire Emblem dub if I say so myself. All right, well moving on. Um
Wait. Is Fire Emblem Heroes even getting new content still?
yes it is. It's still getting that thing is still kicking. You don't know how much
Like,
money that game makes.
no, like new content or just new events with old content? Because there's a
No,
difference.
no, no.
I'm
They
curious.
give new modes and stuff every now and then. Obviously, you always get the characters and stuff. They keep adding to the storylines, like like the storylines for. They keep adding more stuff to that, and then every now and then they'll add like a new side accessory, new content, this, new that. Every time a brand new Fire Emblem game gets dropped, like when Three Houses got introduced, they added stuff for that. When Engage dropped, they added stuff for that. That game is still on and kicking to this day.
All right,
No, I think it's like one of the last mobile games that Nintendo has that's actually kicking real well. But yeah, so
probably.
anyway, we'll go ahead and roll over to this next topic because apparently Square Enix managed to lose $2 billion worth of like basically like in stock or whatnot though. Since the release of Final Fantasy 16's launch. And that's kinda crazy to think about like that. I mean, Square Enix has usually been really good with especially with more of their, big AAA games and whatnot, though.
Okay,
But
so Zard, I'd like
huh.
to fact check this one for you
Yeah, go ahead.
because a lot of people misconstrued the article. It's not that they lost 2 billion because of Final Fantasy
No, not
16.
because of it,
Yeah,
it's just
it's
since
just
then.
it's
Yeah.
because of all the random crap that they've been publishing besides Final Fantasy 16. And also that game being PS5 exclusive didn't help.
No, yeah. That didn't
Like fine
help, and then I think what was it? What was the game before that? Forspoken? That didn't hit well.
yeah,
And
like
then you had
people
the
forget
Avengers thing before that, and they had to sell off a good chunk of their company that was over in the West for that. Yeah.
yeah, people forget how much encompasses Square Enix. They do a lot as much as a lot of it is bad, you know. it's kind of crazy how much bad games they've produced recently. Like, have you seen some of those like really forgettable RPGs they work on? Like, uh, was it the various day life, stupid stuff like that?
Whatever you're saying right there, I have no idea what the heck that
You've never
is.
heard of various day life?
No.
It's dumb. It was Square Enix just forays in a lot of the mobile games. Like they make so many games that you don't care about, and then you get like one every like 4 years. Like the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is by far the only game of theirs that I'm actually looking forward to coming up, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's
And
like for
like
every good success they have, it's like a one or maybe a
yeah,
couple bad ones, and it's like,
that's a good
and
way
it's
of
it,
putting it.
and it's like big giant AAA games, like ones that you put a lot of time and money up in, and it's like
Yeah, it's
you
like
can't be tripping like that all the time.
yeah, because there's
Um,
like a lot of games that you'd think, oh my god, that's Square Enix. Like, oh my god, I like that game. But then there's like a lot that you're like, oh, that's Square Enix. What the hell?
No, it's kind of funny because when you be watching what is it, either a Nintendo Direct or a State of Play, usually, that's where you get most of your big Square Enix stuff. You get a little, I mean, they've been doing some stuff with Microsoft here lately, but tried and true, it's usually always been Nintendo or Sony or whatnot, though. But anytime you saw that logo pop up with Square Enix, everybody always like perks up in their chairs, like, oh, shoot, what they're about to drop
Yeah,
out now. You didn't know whether or not it was like a legacy thing, if they're porting remaster or something brand new, something Final Fantasy, something Kingdom Hearts.
yeah,
Like you just didn't know what you were going to get, or something brand new that could be,
yeah.
like a hit killer. Like for me, that was Triangle Strategy. That mess hit really hard. But
Something I've
yeah,
realized though, they put a lot of money in marketing. Well, no, they put a lot of money and hype into the things that bomb for some reason, right? Like
yeah.
Marvel's Avengers bombed, Forspoken bombed, Neo the World Ends with You bombed like hell.
Well, no, 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 no. See, now that's the one thing.
It
Those
it
first two,
did.
yes, those first two, yes, they technically bombed. Neo, the world ends with you. It's not that they bombed; they shot them own selves in the foot. They did not do nearly as much advertising as what they should have with that game. I
Well,
will
yeah,
let
but it
that
still
know clear.
bombed.
I know it bombed though, but I'm like they shot themselves in the foot. It's not like they made
Well,
a bad
yeah, no.
decision with the game because the audience is definitely there, and I feel like they could have pulled in more people, but they just didn't do the game any justice. So
Oh
between
yeah,
the
no, they didn't.
execution or between the decision making causes these bombs. And I'm
Because
like, bro,
I'm pretty sure the re-release of World Ends with You was good. Like
yeah,
people,
yeah, it was
it
good.
sold well, and that's why Neo even happened. I think it's just weird because Square Enix does a lot I like, but then they also do a lot like their failures are very very like bad. Like stuff like Chocobo GP, which tried to do a battle pass stuff. Like they tried to do battle pass even though it was like a $50 game already.
Oh
For
yeah,
like
and
a
then
square for a fucking chocobo racing game, they thought they could get away with an extremely grindy battle pass with currency that you buy that you don't even keep.
nah,
Like the
I
currency you bought in that game went away after like 6 months, and that game's already dead.
yeah, it's basically dead. Now it's like what, free to play, and then you got
Yeah,
the mobile or I say mobile, the
they're shooting
microtransaction. Yeah.
themselves in the foot really with a lot of these live service games that they shouldn't even be doing. Like Square Enix has a lot of big names under their belt, but sometimes it really feels like they drop the ball. This is the company that has Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts under their fingers. And those games, they always get a lot of people saying stuff. You got Final Fantasy, you got Kingdom Hearts, you have most of the Dragon Quest games for the most
Dragon
part.
Quest. Yep.
Like it's really sad how sometimes they just fumble the ball. Was it Marvel's Avengers, Forspoken, Chocobo GP? A lot of and I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot of games they have that just no one's heard of. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's
And I
true.
think
Which
that's
I
the
mean,
problem.
yeah, and that's part of the problem. It could be, to their betterment in terms of, like there's smaller teams that actually like what Team Asano that actually goes out and make things like Live Alive and stuff like that. Like you're gonna have certain audiences like that are gonna jump at the bid on that you can easily sell somewhere between the range of 1 million and 3 million at tops. and that can still be profitable depending on how much budget and stuff you put behind the thing though. Like you can turn some
Yeah.
quick little things like that, and I think that has a lot of potential. You can bring some audiences in for that though. But there was one quote I do remember, might have been a couple or a few weeks back or something like that, where they actually came out and said, hey, Square Enix wants to convert a lot of their IPs to be AAA games. And I'm like, wait a minute, y'all. I'm like, hold up.
I
If
don't
y'all don't
think that's always a good idea though.
no, I know it's definitely not a good idea. But if you're gonna go through and take some of your IPs and determine which ones get AAA statuses and which ones not, but you just having a good majority of your IPs get converted to AAAs, if you make the wrong decision on some of the wrong ones, or even you could make a good
Okay.
vouch for like one game IP that could be a good fit,
Oh,
but then if your execution is poorly executed, then whole shoot, I don't know how much money you can afford to
no.
lose
I
before you start shutting down some studios.
genuinely, yeah, no, I think that's the thing. They're just spreading themselves too thin. Because genuinely, what else does Square Enix have that could actually be a triple A? Like, I don't know. I would already. I know some people wouldn't. I would consider Dragon Quest triple A.
No,
Like,
no, no,
people forget how big those games are
no,
in Japan.
that's definitely AAA. One I would
Yeah.
think that's not AAA that they could make AAA. For example, this is one that's coming off the top of my head. Maybe the Bravely Default series. Like that's kind of like a
I
double
guess.
A ish, but I wouldn't consider that as AAA. There's not like a
They also have
giant budget behind that.
they also have Life is Strange, which is weird because that's obviously triple A, I'd say, but like not as many people talk about it anymore.
Hmm.
Like those games were big back in the day when people would talk about them and it didn't make sense. Forspoken was like probably the closest thing they had to a new triple A IP, and they fucked it.
Oh,
They
well.
killed it.
No, whoever decided they need to put that much money in that game, I could have told you right then and there, we do not need to put that much
It
money up in that game.
yeah, like it shut down the whole studio. Of course they lost $2 billion. They shut down an entire studio from their incompetence. To just like I don't even know what it was. Was it just that they didn't give them time, or they got the wrong people to make the game? I don't know. And then you got Balan Wonderworld, which speaks for itself. I don't even have to say anything.
Oh gosh, I forgot about that one. What the heck?
It is literally a game that is broken to its core. It is beyond saving. You literally would have to take everything and restructure it, and it sucks because it has like very good character designs. But
Ooh.
honestly, the more I talk about Square Enix, the sadder I get.
No, man, they got a lot of potential, but I'm tired of them shooting themselves in the foot. Like a lot of these football teams and stuff. I've been liking myself some football seasons though. A whole shoot, some of my teams that are shooting themselves in the foot. I'm gosh dang tired of it. Oh, I don't want to go down that big long tangent though. But
Yeah,
Square Enix, get your crap together. And
put
get
your
some better
money.
people. Put your money where your
Yeah,
mouth is, and put some better people in them seats that are making them high executive roles and decisions and whatnot. Though, because things need to
yeah.
change. Because I don't
I
need a lot
just
of your studios shutting down.
because I just compare Square Enix to like a studio like Capcom, where Capcom has been kind of putting out banger after banger for the most part for their new releases.
Like, maybe except for Exo Primal. I mean,
Wh-
that one
I
got
don't
this
even.
little small audience, but it's not nearly as bad as some of these other things we've been talking about
But
with
that's the thing. Like
Square Enix. Yeah.
Exoprimal, obviously, it's not one of Capcom's big IPs. While with like Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, Street Fighter, Ace Attorney, they always put out something of quality. Like, Street Fighter 6 was like a very big game when it came out at first, and it's still got a community playing it.
Yeah.
I guarantee Capcom hasn't lost a lot of money. I feel like it's just that Capcom's been putting out more consistent quality. Like if a new Street Fighter is revealed, I'm like, okay, I trust Capcom to at least make it a good polished game. While Forspoken at least was broken on PC at launch.
Well,
And then like
mm.
I don't know. And here's this is a personal thing. I think most of their games just blend in with each other. Like very similar art styles with a 2D drawn like cover art with basically the same font used sometimes for the title for the logo.
Yeah, I mean, at least with
I
brand
no
identity,
offense
you
to
look at some of those and you'd be like, okay, you know that's Square Enix. So in some ways, it
yeah,
kind of works, but in other ways, I guess making it
no
differentiate itself from other things. Yeah.
no offense, but it really does feel like randomly generated games come out from them at time to time.
Hmm.
Like I don't know. Like the only thing I really like, I look at Square Enix and the first thing I think is Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Dragon Quest. And that's not a bad thing, but like they've been known for that for how long now? I think they're doing Mario RPG remake. I'm not sure.
Oh,
It's a
I don't think
maybe
that one's 100% confirmed
because
yet.
they
But
have the
yeah,
rights. They have the like Square Enix themselves have the rights to Mallow, Geno, and all of those original characters from Mario RPG. They need to consult Square Enix to do anything about those characters. So it would kind of just be weird to not have them make the game.
yeah. I don't know. Well, we have to wait and see on that one though. But
Yeah,
in
but
terms of the Square Enix stuff, I think that's basically almost all we had to say on it. Or did you have one more thing, Steven?
I was just gonna say that coming up, it looks like Square Enix might be turning things around. Like they have Final Fantasy VII, at least in 2024, you have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Kingdom Hearts 3 might be coming out
No,
next year.
that is not coming out
No,
next year. No,
I
I
don't know.
do not think so.
Kingdom Hearts 3, 4, did I say
Four,
3?
you
I meant
mean?
4. Kingdom Hearts 4 is coming, and that's good enough, because that game is going to take 10 years. And then you got, I don't know, Dragon Quest 12 is in the pipeline. Dragon Quest HD 2D remake, they just confirmed the other day, is still being worked on smoothly. Uh, they have another big game that I'm just forgetting to mention
That's
coming,
all.
like,
That's all I can
soon.
think of was the two Dragon Quests, FF7 Rebirth, and and Foam Stars. Yeah, they're doing that too.
I guess. Yeah, I guess we'll mention that game. Foam Stars looks fine.
But no,
Uh,
that's all I can think. Oh wait, no, that's Atlas. I'm thinking of something else. No, I think that's about it.
yeah, I think that's about it. And it's like it's weird because Square Enix has like properties that should be making them money back. Like Final Fantasy 14 is still one of the biggest multiplayer games on PC and all
No,
that.
if it weren't for them having that game when they dropped the ball on Avengers and Forspoken, I don't know exactly where they would be at. That with a combination of thankfully they have FF7 remake at the time when some of those butcher drops kind of dropped though. But yeah, thank goodness for
Yeah,
that because I don't know where they would be at right now though. But whew, I think we talked about Square Enix long enough. I'm kind of like you now. I'm like, more I talk about them, the more hype, but then depressed I get. It's like the
I just feel
duality with
bad.
them. It's just messed up. Oh goodness. All right. Well, these next few topics we're going to talk about, or I would say next three to four technically, they're all going to be big and they're all going to be major. So we got a lot to probably say about them though. But we'll take them one by one. So we'll talk about the Nintendo Direct first. We know that this technically happened. What was it? The week before last, and they announced a lot of good stuff. Steven. I managed to make a video over it, kind of giving some of my thoughts out on some of the different announcements, though. But what was your major pull and takeaway from this direct? If you were basically to say something about it, because from my point perspective, when I was looking at this, I knew looking at it, I was like, you could definitely tell the Switch was kind of in its going out phase. It's almost like it's almost guaranteed, but it's not necessarily guaranteed that the next console probably will come out in 2024 because everything that was announced in this direct that was first party wise was something that we already knew about or was technically a remake, but nothing brand spanking new, period. And that kind of says, you know what? Most of our big, heavy developers, they're already working on the next big thing. At least, so I dubbed this thing like the remastered direct. But
Zard.
what were you thinking?
I don't care because Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is getting a remaster, so it's an 11 out of 10. That's all I have to say. I was fucking screaming. I was screaming when that game was being shown off. Literally frame 1, the moment the music started, my face was already like flaring up. I am in love with that game.
I'm
That
glad I
is
wasn't
my
there because you probably
favorite.
would have blew out
Yes,
my ears.
probably, probably. But my God, it was 10 o'clock in the morning, and got a noise complaint from my landlord. And yeah,
I did
so
not, bruh.
very excited for Thousand Year Doors remaster. It looks beautiful. I'm I think I'm just happy they're going back to a point of Paper Mario. It's basically them admitting, "All right, here's the game you want. We can't do anything better than this. This is the peak of Paper Mario." I I just can't, like, the game is just it just exudes a charm, exudes everything I love about games really in that one game. I can't wait to play through it again. Slightly different look. It's gonna look very nice as well. I'd say the original is still a great game. This isn't gonna replace the original, but it's gonna give it's gonna give this game another chance for so many people. So many people are going to be picking this up thinking this is just the second Paper Mario game. People that started with Origami King, started with the Switch, are just going to think of this as the second Paper Mario game, like how it was the second Paper Mario game, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're true, and
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting how they came out with this one. Obviously, they could tell that this was definitely one of the fan favorites, and it's kind of interesting now on the Switch. You technically have
No,
access to playing three of the Paper Mario's. You know, the first,
but
the second, and the latest one in the entry
but
or the
but
series.
Zard, even Nintendo knows how big of a deal this is for Paper Mario fans because they don't close a direct usually with something like this. You know what I mean? Like Link's Awakening remake, they closed the direct with because that's Zelda. That's like a Zelda game that people like a lot. But this is like, because they did that in like 2019 for Link's Awakening. But this is a remake. Well, this is a remake. This is a remaster of a GameCube game. Pikmin 1 and 2, and then Metroid Prime, they were just shown off in the middle of a direct. Like people were happy about it, but they were just shown off and they were shadow dropped. This is getting a full spotlighted release. This was their big thing. This was Nintendo's like biggest thing in that direct to the point where it was like face first on like the little image they made after the direct showing all the games in the direct. This and like Princess Peach Showtime are right on top. Mario fans are eating good this year and
No,
next year too.
that's the interesting thing is because these past two directs, they've been heavily Mario centric. I
Yeah.
think actually, when you go back and look at all the first party games in there, obviously you have like
For the most part,
Wario and stuff that we know is coming out later in November. The what was it? The only other brand new thing that was announced up in here we didn't know that was existing, which killed a part of my soul. So that's why I don't kind of like this direct a whole bunch. Was when they announced the Mario versus Donkey Kong game, and I was like, "Gosh,
well,
stinking dang it,
okay.
you little rats! It should have been a brand new Donkey Kong game, man.
But
I've been
guess
waiting to
what?
get my Donkey Kong game for hold on, Steven, for like
Yes.
for 10 whole years. I'm talking about a whole decade. We did not have another brand new Donkey Kong game, man. It's been way too long. So you know what? When the next console for the Nintendo system comes out and they don't have Donkey Kong within its launch year lineup within the first year, I'm gonna be like, what is wrong with one of them? I'm
But
gonna catch a flight to Kyoto, Japan, or something like that, and walk up to Nintendo's doorstep and start pounding on the door. Be like, where's the ape at? Where you got him locked up at? This ain't no Harambe situation. Let him out. Okay, okay, that's all I gotta say.
yeah, so Silver Lining, it's at least a good game. It's a very good game, in fact, from the GBA. I like Mario versus Donkey Kong. So I don't know if you've played either of them, Zard, but this game, Mario versus Donkey Kong, is a follow-up to the Game Boy Donkey Kong on like 1994.
Yeah,
if you've played
yeah,
it.
no, I played the Game Boy 94. I
And
didn't play
94
this
is great.
original I didn't play the original, Mario versus Donkey Kong, but I played
Yeah,
some of the minis March again that was, like, on the DS
obviously, yeah.
era. Yeah, that's
But
that's how I
all
knew about Mario versus Donkey Kong, yeah.
but all you need to know is that this game is a direct follow-up to the gameplay of 94. It's very people just call it Donkey Kong 94, so I'm doing that to make it more simple. Donkey Kong 94 is just a nice evolution of Donkey Kong as like a gameplay style, like how he moves around in that game and just the level design. It's a very fun puzzle platformer. And I'd say the Game Boy one is just better. You got little bite-sized puzzles. It's perfect for handheld as well. It's very pick up, play a couple levels and stop playing game. Uh it's got it's got very nice visuals from what they've shown. Like it looks like a really nice game. The art style is just nice and colorful. Uses it just uses updated models. Obviously, those new animated cutscenes look great. Just fully animating what were stills on the GBA.
Those DK renders, they look pretty impressive to me, though. I was like, "Dang."
Well, it's mostly because Donkey Kong doesn't get a lot of modern renders. You know what I mean? He doesn't really get a lot of modern renders besides like Tropical Freeze got a couple. But
Oh,
I don't
Tropical
know.
Freeze, amazing game, y'all. If y'all still waiting for a new DK game, go out and buy a
Go out and
Tropical
buy it.
Freeze.
Buy it like twice. There you go. No, but Mario vs. Donkey Kong is a nice game. I don't know why it's $50, but I'm gonna buy it because it's a good game. It's just a weird game for them to release as a full-on release. This feels like something that would be shadow dropped on the eShop, but I
It
guess they
almost
just
felt like it, but then again, it's
yeah.
kinda like, I guess it's just
Well,
more so
yeah.
pacing it because their holiday lineup is pretty set. Like, right now, what is it? We're in the late parts of September, right? And then
Yeah.
October, you literally had Detective Pikachu well, first party wise from Nintendo's Detective Pikachu early, Mario Wonder in the mid-month. November early is WarioWare, and I think some point later in November probably getting the DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and all of that stuff. And
Yeah.
also in November, you got Super Mario RPG. So it's kind of filling up. So I can understand why it's not necessarily a shadow drop, especially when, wait, what? I think technically, what was it? This past Friday, Pikmin 1 and 2, the HD versions actually released physically for retailers. So it's kind of like a I can't even talk.
Yeah.
Re-release or something like that. If you want to call it that,
Something like
whatever.
that.
Yeah.
But I will say, well, yeah, and I think it's got more languages because they just updated Pikmin 1 and 2 to like give it more languages. So I guess this is kind of like the actual full release of the game for them, really. Well, I think they just shadow dropped it just to get people excited. But back to what I was saying, Mario versus Donkey Kong. Like the last thing I'll say about it is that I just do really like this game specifically being remade, and I'm glad they're not doing a new Mario versus Donkey Kong because Mario versus Donkey Kong nowadays is boring. Like the minis games. Have
Oh
you
no,
played any of the
I
recent ones?
I can't. I have to actually
Oh,
whip out my 3DS to figure out which ones I actually
it was
own.
it was good for one game. I liked March of the Minis, and that's about it. It
Hmm.
was good while it lasted. March of the Minis, and then there's one on the 3DS that's like an actual 3D one that it looks interesting. But besides that, I'm excited for the remake, and that's about it because it really reminds me of a time. Like, it reminds me of a time when the Mario franchise was kind of transitioning back into a more like simple take. Because remember, this game was back like in, I think it was 2003 or 2004. So this was when Mario was kind of transitioning back into its like new era with New Super Mario Bros.
Uh,
So stuff,
mm, yeah, yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know.
roughly
It's
around
just
that time,
it's a
roughly.
weird feeling because this game is when Nintendo started making like more of their modern Mario renders and kind of shaping the modern art style of Mario. So seeing it remade with like full 3D models instead of sprites it just looks a little weird because I kind of imagined it, I guess, looking differently. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Something about it looks weird, but like also looks right.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And then I guess it's looking at a few of the other announcements that happen to be announced in this direct. Just looking at a couple of them real quick. We did manage to get like a second look at the Splatoon 3 side order DLC. Where now we got like a little bit of plot line stuff to kind of go off of. We saw like what Pearl being like the assistant robot, and then like Marina. I guess you got like somebody that's kind of stepping in for her. It's not like a lot of information to go off of, but
It's
the
like
one weird,
Marina's like friend. It's one of Marina's
yeah,
friends. So
and
like
it's like
just
the
from what
one
they
weird thing. Oh, hold up. The one weird thing was they announced that this is coming out in spring of 2024. Thought that was something that's supposed to come out in November around the
they're
amiibos.
cooking.
So I'm like, well,
No,
shoot,
on
whatever.
the eShop page, it's always said 2024. So
Has it?
yeah, it always did say that. But
Maybe
back
that
to
was a
what I
placeholder.
yeah,
Hmm.
well yeah, but that's still like the latest it would come out.
Hmm.
But back to what I was saying about side order, I think from everything they've shown, it's not that hard to like put together the pieces that Marina's probably gonna be the bad guy at the end, and then you gotta save her.
Oh, unless she's like
Because
being
this is like a
possessed or
because this
something.
is no, because they literally have said that this is an alternate scenario if order won instead of chaos. Like this is what would have happened or whatever.
Hmm.
But I don't know if you kind of listened to it again, but they said that this is gonna be a experience that's designed to be played through many times.
Oh no, yeah, and
So
it
this
was
is a
kind of
roguelike
interesting.
mode.
It was kind of interesting the way how I guess if you looked in like some of the technical stuff that was like up in the top right corners of the screens and stuff like that, like the leveling up and I guess some of the different level structures and stuff like that. I feel like this one is gonna probably even be better than Octo Expansion. I mean,
Well,
there's not too much more to say about it though, but man,
here's the thing. I don't even people I think it's gonna be good, but I think people are gonna go into it with the wrong mindset. I don't think you should go in expecting Octo expansion, because the story mode of Splatoon 3 itself was kind of like Octo expansion. You know what I mean? Like
oh
levels where
yeah,
you
in
can,
some way, yeah.
you were able to choose the weapon when you go in. There was like levels kind of teaching you mechanics in like very small. Yeah, you had some small levels focused on one in mechanic, and you had some big ones focused on like a bunch of different stuff. You had fun boss battles as well. So I'm rewatching the side order thing right now, Zard. It's a roguelike. That's you spend money that you gain from the floors because there's like basically you go up this whole tower and there's a bunch of floors, and at the end of every single floor you like put in like these color palettes into like a inventory, I guess, to upgrade stuff like your run speed, splash damage, drone splat bomb.
Hmm,
And basically you could pick harder floors but you get a better reward out of it.
interesting.
It's basic because I know it's basically them saying we already gave you a good single player mode, so now we're gonna give you something different. Which I'm fine with because I like roguelikes. It's basically like from what I'm looking at, and I'm counting all of the spaces, Zard, there are 36 of these color palette slots. So presumably, like there will be like 36, at least 36 floors you go through. And then finally at the end you'll fight like Marina or whoever. And then, do it, maybe things change and you got to do it again, or it's just going to be a heavily replayable experience. That is what I've gathered.
Oh yeah,
I'm
so
excited
hopefully
for
you
that.
have like a really good solid replay experience. And I hope the wait's worth it. I know it is going to be worth it though, but I guess in terms of like a release time, since they did say spring, I'm not expecting it to drop until like what would be the spring update season, which I think is like roughly around April or so. So
Yeah,
April's probably the prime time spot I'm expecting it to probably drop.
yeah. Because I'm watching that trailer right now, and there are some shots where you see like the dualies that the main character is holding have like upgrades on them, like holograms with upgrades. It basically looks like it's gonna be a Splatoon power trip, Zard, where like you basically like over time you go from like a basic ass Splatoon character to overpowered, running super fast and killing everything in one shot. I think it's gonna be a really fun mode.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. And
And
I guess to keep
also,
oh go
oh,
ahead.
no. What were you saying? What were you saying?
No, I was about to say, and also to keep the ball rolling, because I'm looking at our time. We got 40 minutes to talk about the other two or three major things though. So we're about to
Yeah,
almost run into rapid fire though. But I was about to say there was like one more game I wanted to talk about in that was announced in the direct, and that being F-Zero 99. Because
yeah,
whole
baby.
shoot, I was like, man, I really wanted a brand new F-Zero game. I wasn't expecting the 99 game, even though afterward thinking about it when I made my predictions video, I was like, it actually would make a lot of sense for them to do it. I just didn't say it in my video. And lo and behold, that's what we got. But the game is still pretty fun. I would say so myself. I put a good amount of time up in that thing, a lot more than what I thought I was. I thought it was gonna be like one of those 99 games I was just probably gonna write off. Though I do like myself some F Zero. I mean, I played the SNES. I played F Zero X on the N64. I even have F Zero GX, so I have all of those to juggle around. Though great game series though, but we're not used to them having like an online multiplayer mode up in there though. But considering how it funnels you in with 99 different people, all the chaos and the extreme stuff where you trying to knock out, get KOs, build up your speed boost meter though. They brought in the fact that you're actually able to, expend part of your life source at the risk of you exploding for you to go faster. So they pulled some elements from F-Zero X that we know, from later iterations of the series and actually applied it to, the first entry because this is basically the ground level of built upon the F Zero from the SNES era. So there's a lot of good stuff they managed to mix all up together, though. And I was kind of genuinely surprised by this announcement, though. But nonetheless, I think this one has a lot of potential to kind of stay up there with Tetris 99 and actually be like a permanent stay holder in
Yeah.
comparison to like what Mario 35 because it got
I'm
dropped because of an anniversary, and then Pac-Man 99. I guess the numbers just wasn't impressive.
I'm gonna pull out the unpopular opinion, and I'm gonna say that what F-Zero 99 is probably a better idea than whatever F-Zero game would have been announced if it was a new F-Zero.
Now hold on here. If it was
I
F
think,
Zero GX with online though.
yeah, that would have been cool, but you gotta admit, like a 16-bit widescreen rendition of like a racing game, at least since we already have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has F-Zero tracks, it would just be a little redundant to do a Switch quality F-Zero, especially when Fast RMX kind of fills that void, I'd say already. So I'm glad they did something unique like F-Zero 99. And it's actually good. They put a lot of effort into it too. It's not just a lazy like cash grab for F-Zero fans. This is a free bonus you get with Nintendo Switch Online. It's really fun, it works really well, and it's probably the best 99 game. Like, it's the only one that you actually feel like you're fighting people in, competing to get first place. While Tetris, it's more of a like a survival, like test of endurance, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
While
most definitely.
99 F-Zero 99, it's very fast matches, very frantic. I've died so many times. Like getting to the finish line's hard enough. Getting first place is another story. And I think it's a really exhilarating experience. I can keep playing that game for a long time and have fun with it. I think the only thing would just be like adding new tracks, which they already said they're doing. Like it's gonna have 15 tracks total once like the next couple are added.
Yeah, and I think like there was some either people pulled up I think it was through data mining and stuff like that though. Like the Satellaview and stuff like that. Like the
Yeah.
add-on I think was for the like for the Super Famicom over there in Japan and whatnot though. There was some exclusive download courses that they were able to do over there in the East. So it'll be interesting to have those courses be added into the mix though. So a lot of cool things between the team battles that I think they might add in a survival mode. That would be really cool. And then also your Grand Prix or your mini Grand Prix. There's a lot of good stuff up in that thing that just kind of has me be like, let me just pick this up and see. I have not
Yeah.
managed to get any first place wins. Have you? Have you, Steven?
I've gotten like two, and then in Grand
Dang it,
Prix I've
bro.
gotten like two. It's
Man,
a fun
ugh.
game, and it really feels like you have to like have a good strategy or make it or break it at the end. Like
No,
you either
it's all
use all
down
your
to
boost
skill.
and risk crashing at the end, or you get like second.
Yeah. So honestly,
Yeah.
I think Nintendo, tip their hat off to them because they actually managed to get a good one, at least for
Yeah.
NSO people.
Like
Surprised we didn't get, updates on N64, GBA, Game Boys, all those kind of games though. But I knew we are getting something in it,
Amazing
so I
Mirror
just
is
didn't think
coming.
we'd get that. Oh, and I didn't even have that as a topic though, but yeah, they did manage to announce that, which wasn't
That's cool.
Amazing Mirror kind of like basically your Four Swords Adventure equivalent, but with Kirby.
Kinda, and you also didn't need a goddamn GameCube.
Yeah, I mean,
You
but
just
then again, you would need like GBAs and either the link cables or the
yeah,
wireless adapters and all of that
but
stuff.
like
So
this
I guess
this
it
would
was
be a
easier to do in that. Yeah,
perfect game for sitting at the lunch table back in the
yeah,
day, I bet.
yeah.
But
So
I was just
we
gonna
might dabble with that. Yeah.
it'd be fun. But I was just gonna say that at least regarding F-Zero, because the tracks have been data mined, and by all intents and purposes, if they add like if they add like a Grand Prix mode offline and all that for each of the courses, this is literally just gonna be like a remake of F-Zero on the SNES. That's what it is, really. It's a from the ground up
Yeah,
remake of
technically,
F-Zero.
yeah.
And with widescreen, it runs really smooth at 60 FPS. If they add a friend lobby feature, this is like amazing, Zard, because it will basically just be playing F-Zero with friends online. If you could play normal matches, like non 99, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah, I get you.
And
Yeah,
even right now, it still has pretty good robust offline features. Like it has only 4 cars, but you also can save a ghost for each of those cars when practicing. There's a fully baked in time trials mode, and you have to play F-Zero 99 to unlock the time trials. It's just a fun game. It also does something that we've complained a lot about in Splatoon 3. The challenges thing where it rotates the modes
oh
every like
yeah, it is a little
yeah.
more often. Yeah, I
Well,
mean the
no,
Grand
this
Prix
game
they
it's
come
like
every 2 hours, but no,
yeah.
there's at least something going on almost all the
So
time.
there's something interesting, whether it's team battles, pro battles, mini pre's, or grand prix. But on weekends, they actually do grand prix every 30 minutes. If you didn't know,
No, yeah, I know. So yeah, so that's
yeah,
the best time to kind of grind down and see how really good you are. But yeah,
I think it's fun. I think it's honestly an amazing experience, and it's pretty close to being like the top of my games for 2023. I'd say it breaks the top 5.
okay, okay,
Like
okay.
I don't know, it's just a game that surprised me in a lot of ways with I didn't expect this to actually be such high quality. I expected it to be like Pac-Man 99 where I hop on, say it's cool and then stop playing.
I mean, that was the only one I was able to get pack number ones and oddly enough.
Well, cuz it
But
was easy. It was too easy.
mhm,
In a
yeah,
game with 99 people, it should not be easy to win. That's the drive of it is that you eventually will get
it
it.
was either that or I was just that good. I don't know which one it was, Steven. I felt like these chumps never
Well,
grew up in the arcades back in the day like me. I'm
I
just gonna
got a
say it's
lot of
like that.
them. I got
I
a
I,
lot of them.
I
It
got
was
a
just
lot
an
of them
easy.
too. Yeah,
It was a easy. Because you don't
but
actually face people in that game. Those jammer Pac-Men are like more random than anything.
yeah, but I think that well, I think what was it Pac-Man thing is supposed to be shutting down sometime next month. I think it shuts down in October.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that's why they're doing this. Because Tetris 99, they've already kind of settled on, where Tetris 99 got
No,
the
that
offline mode.
yeah, no, that thing. Well, it already has the offline mode, but then again, that audience for Tetris 99 or like most Tetris things, they got a dedicated fan base. Like it's not hard to still
Yeah.
get in a query for 99 people for Tetris.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
F-Zero, I don't think this isn't gonna shut down like how Mario 35 did. There's no reason for them to shut this down when there's no F-Zero stuff on Switch besides virtual console bullshit. Like Mario 35, like I get it, but you already have Mario Brothers on the system in like three different ways. While this, it would just be stupid for them to take it down because everyone loves it.
no, yeah. So hopefully Nintendo don't touch this mess. This is probably a good thing, F-Zero wise.
Yeah.
And two, it probably would allow people to gauge interest, get familiar with the IP. So then that way, when y'all do happen to come out with either remake, remaster F-Zero GX, or should I dare say a brand new F-Zero game, fingers crossed on that one. Now people actually know the franchise, and it's not going to be something weird. Okay. All right, I rest
Wait,
my case on that though.
one more
But
thing about the direct because we both forgot to mention it.
it's gonna have to be quick, but go ahead.
Princess Peach Showtime looks good, and it looks good. I don't have much else to say. It looks good, and that's about it. It looks serviceable. I would probably have fun with it.
It looks cool. I think some people will really enjoy it. I don't think it's gonna necessarily be my cup of tea though, but I can appreciate what it's actually doing and what Peach is actually doing within the game. It's definitely not like your
Yeah, like it looks
traditional
like
platformer or nothing.
well, no, it looks like a Crash Bandicoot-esque thing where they're doing like 3D mixed with 2D sections. Where it's gonna, I don't know, like kind of like Luigi's Mansion where you travel different floors and you're doing different stuff every floor, but it's still gonna be a focused platformer. Besides that, like at the
Yeah.
end of that trailer, you see, there's like boss fights and there's like an evil team you gotta stop. I think it's just fun that they're doing something with Peach. This could have easily been a Mario game.
Oh yeah, no,
Just
it it, it
they're having
easily
fun
could have
with it.
been. Yeah.
And also just them having a game all about like a stage play and a show, and then later in this same direct they have Thousand Year Door, which has like this when in Thousand Year Door you're like on a stage when you battle. So it was just kind of really it was really fitting to have this game coming out when it is. And what that game's March, right?
Yeah, that one comes
So
out
that's
some
like
point March. Yes.
so that's like your bigger release for the early 2024, which it works. And that's
Yeah.
about it. Besides
Yeah.
that, the direct was good. Sora amiibo surprised me, and Funky Kong. I didn't mention Funky Kong, did I?
No, you did not. So now you can say funky mode on the they can slap the funky mode thing up in the top right corner on that Switch art box.
He's my new main.
Bro, I'm
And
glad they
that's
put
all.
Diddy. I'm glad they put Diddy in. So if you were to give the Switch letter grade, what would you give it?
The direct?
Yeah. I said the Switch. You're right.
Okay, well I gotta be unbiased. If it did not have Thousand Year Door in it, it would probably be about like a 6.5. It had stuff that
I said
interested
letter
me,
grade,
but it
not
had a
number
lot of
boy.
filler. Okay, a B. I would
A
have given
B?
it a B, but now I'm giving it an A minus because
Bruh.
even with my favorite game of all time, I can't not. Okay, okay, A minus is a little low. I'll give it an A.
All right,
It's
so
now an A.
I like how you put it too high. I'm gonna keep it a buck 50 with you. Despite Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door being up in there, and which honestly saved it for me for a lot of things, I'm still giving this direct a C plus.
That's perfectly fair, but like at least for me, I actually resonated with a lot of the games they're remastering slash remaking, so I'm fine with this. Like those Another Code games are actually kind of sleeper hits if you had never tried them.
Yeah. No, if
They're,
they
by the
were
way, they're first party games. Like that's a first
no,
party
no,
Nintendo
and
IP.
those are cool too. It's just well, when we get to that part in the show, if I can hurry up and squeeze this segment up in here because you're talking a
Yeah,
lot. No, I ain't taking no shots though.
this
But
is
no,
literally
there's
the
too
only
much stuff
thing I'm
dropping.
here for.
There's too many things dropping in early 2024. But we'll talk about that little segment once we get to Tokyo
Yeah.
Game Show
I'm
stuff.
talking
But
about this a lot because there's nothing else. Like this other stuff, I have not much to say about.
I got you. I got you. Well, there might be one that you might say something about, but yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. But that, yeah, so that's pretty much most of our thoughts on the Nintendo Direct, especially with me. You heard some things I said about it, some things I didn't talk about in maybe a previous video, and you got to hear some of Steven's thoughts on some of this stuff. So nice stuff across the board right there. So that's it on the Nintendo. Now let's go ahead and flip it over to Sony because apparently they had another state of play, which little heads up, I got a little thing cooking in the kitchen right now. You might see a video on it later this week though. So I won't give away all the full details of, what's up in that thing though. But the main draws or takeaways I wanted to say from this Sony state of play was number one, where the heck are the first party Sony studio games? Because literally, once you get after Spider Man 2, we don't know anything else. And then number two, I'd say the games up in it, they're not nearly that bad. I thought it was pretty solid for the most part, though. But that what was it? The Final Fantasy VII Rebirth actually showing up in this thing and actually getting a release date was like the most hype thing about this whole entire thing. And you lo and behold know it, they're dropping this sucker February the 29th on the leap year day itself. I had to look at the calendar. I was like, wait, February 29th. I looked up on the thing. I was like, why are they dropping this mess on a Thursday? I was like, okay. So, I don't know. That's probably the most hype thing out of that presentation. And they had me in that first half of the state of play. I ain't gonna lie, there wasn't really anything resonating with me. Ghostbusters seemed cool and stuff. I didn't have a VR kit or nothing like that though. But I think the second they started showing Helldivers 2 Armward, that's when I kind of started resonating with some of those other games though.
It
But if I
it
were to
didn't
give it
have
a
Five
letter
Nights at
grade,
Freddy's.
no, it didn't. But it had it on what was it? What was it? The showcase, I think that's when they had that.
Well, yeah, but no, it had it in another state of play. It's just because they have like a new PSVR game coming out, so I expected to see it here. But besides
Oh,
that, um, I only thing I was actually interested in was this tiny look at Spider-Man 2 and Rebirth. That's about it. Literally
no,
it.
that's what I expected from you. Because at least the stuff from the Spider-Man 2, I wasn't expecting too much more since we're literally right around the corner from it though. But the fact how they say, hey, you can just load up anywhere in the city and all of this stuff though. We knew Spider-Man could fly around, but seeing it in practice and seeing how fast that dude was going through, well, both the Spideys were going through New York City, and the fact you got like two different areas that you're actually able to do. So everything in the original Spider-Man game, and then plus some. I was like, okay, this is seeming to be a pretty good experience right here, though. So I was like, yes, I'm all here for it. I can't wait until that day comes out. Well, I say that though, but then you got like what Sonic, Spider-Man, and um Mario coming out all in the same week. That's gonna be a crazy week. I don't even know how I'm gonna handle that. Oh
Yeah,
shoot.
not.
Goodness.
I'm not looking forward to it. It's gonna be too much.
It's gonna be a bit too much. It's gonna be like, what are you playing, Sonic? What are you playing, Mario? What are you playing, Spider Man? It'd be like, oh shoot, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be fun. It'll be fun nonetheless. It's not like you can't say there's nothing to play on that week or whatnot though. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
if someone says they have nothing they're playing, they're lying.
yeah, there's a little bit of something for everybody though. But if I were to give this state of play a letter grade, I think it's in the same avenue as like what the Nintendo Direct got. I would say it's basically a C plus because there's nothing brand new that we didn't know in this
All
thing.
right.
The only
Okay,
thing we knew
listen.
that we didn't know was the release date for FF7 Rebirth.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It had, in my opinion, I think it's even worse. It had even less at that point. Like it had hardly any new announcements, and you just got a release date. While the final announcement of the Nintendo Direct was at least a new announcement of a remaster, and it was like they actually remastered and remade some games people liked, like Another Code, Thousand Year Door, Donkey Mario versus Donkey Kong. Like all very well liked games. I don't know. I think giving the Nintendo Direct the same ranking as the State of Play is just a little weird.
Mm,
I
maybe
think
a
I think
C,
this
maybe a C.
I
But
just think the State of Play is like I don't know, I think the State of Play was not that great personally, but yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just mostly that FF7 Rebirth release date. I think that was the thing that kind of sugarcoated me up, and I was like, "Wait a minute, oh shoot!" I think that's the thing that really kind of got me going. But yeah, not too much more to say about it though. It's not necessarily the worst state of play because there's been ones that has been a whole lot worse. But I just wish there was like a little popness, wildness, new factor or something. 'Cause like what you said, Steven, even with the Nintendo Direct, we didn't know about Mario versus Donkey Kong. That technically was a brand new thing that we didn't even know about. And then
And
obviously you got a
Thousand
little
Year
smoke
Door,
in Thousand Year Door. So
and also another code,
and that too. And that too. Well, even between all three
and
of
F Zero
those, tech
99.
yeah. Well, before you mentioned F099, between the other three, the only brand new. What? No, shoot. I was about to say brand new. I'm like, no, all of those are remakes or remasters. I was like, never mind, forget what I was about to say. But yeah, so honestly, it's a
Nostalgia's just at an all-time high, huh? So many
yeah.
remakes, remasters, re this, re that.
I was thinking the Mario versus Donkey Kong was new, and I was like, wait a minute, that's just a GBA game. Gosh dang it.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much all I have to say on the state of play stuff right here. So we'll go ahead and talk transition over to this next one here is gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a big
Uh,
one because whole shoot, somebody done goofed at Xbox right here because oh crap, they just went out and leaked a crap, and I mean a crap load of stuff that was I think it's thanks to those FTC cases and whatnot though, them trying to acquire Activision Blizzard and all of that, all those court cases and stuff we've been hearing about almost like a whole year long now. Yeah, there were some retracted statements and stuff like that that obviously wasn't going to be put out in public knowledge or whatnot though. Somebody gave them the green light and said, hey, well, anybody can see this. They got thrown up on public, so you can literally go to the court case website, whatever it is, and literally go and download this stuff. And obviously, they covered it back up since then, though. But the internet never forgets, Steven. Though, so everybody and their mama went and kind of downloaded a lot of these images and whatnot, though, and then people just started kind of running with this stuff, though. So there's a few things that I saw that were up in these slides. I'm gonna see if I can kind of share this mess here real quick though. But there was a few things that was kind of showcased off in this thing where people were like, this is kind of interesting. I'm surprised you're kind of doing this stuff, Xbox. So we're gonna have to take it literally kind of one step at a time. Oh, okay, yeah, that showed up pretty good. All right, so literally one of the first few slides up on this thing, Steven, they actually confirmed that a mid-gen device is actually in the works. Now,
yeah.
granted, you have to take everything with a little grain of salt because, like any business, plans, business strategies can change from a day-to-day basis. But I
But
think most of the stuff in here is going to happen at some point. We might not know an exact date of when it might happen. There's some approximations, but we know it's probably more than likely gonna happen. And
making a mid-gen console is not surprising, especially since we have an image and a name. Yeah, makes sense. Like, I don't know. Like, this is totally something Xbox would do.
And that's the funny thing though too, because Phil Spencer literally came out in a statement was like, no, we're not gonna actually do a mid-gen refresh, even though we kind of already knew at the time Sony was possibly gonna do one with like what the detachable disk drive, which is kind of interesting. That might not even fall this holiday season. It might not be until earlier 2024, some point in 2024 though.
I
So
was just gonna I was just gonna say that at least with Xbox, like they probably said some like weird like sneaky wordplay where they said we are currently not disclosing information on whether we're not working on this blah blah blah. Like developers can lie.
no,
They
yeah,
probably definitely lied about it. Like how like the many times that Nintendo like what was it like when Nintendo like right before the Switch OLED was announced was like we are not working on any revisions of the Switch hardware at this time. It
yeah,
happens all the
I
time.
mean, they did that, and everybody remembered about the whole thing with the 3DS situation, and then they turn around and announced it the next day or something like that. It's all
Yeah.
business PR. It's all business PR at the end of the day, though. But that one leaked console that we got for the mid-gen refresh is kind of interesting. Apparently, it's the same thing as an Xbox Series X, like what we know it as today. However, it's all digital. Now remember, we had like the sad edition and stuff like that with the Xbox One. We still had the option of, other kind of things that still took, physical media and whatnot though. But to
Wait,
have the most powerful console iteration as a mid-gen refresh and just be completely digital where you can't have any physical media up in there, that's pretty interesting.
wait, is the refresh? I swear I seen a disk drive on that refresh thing.
No,
No,
no, no, no.
I don't
I'm
know.
showing the
But
screen right
I
now.
don't know.
It's
The
called like
Series
the Brooklyn.
S, the Series S is a
Series S is
all
already
digital.
digital. Like right
But
now we have
I
the
was just
X
gonna
and the
say,
S.
there's a possibility they could do two different mid gens. As stupid as that is, you know what I mean? Like they could do a mid-gen Xbox that's all digital, but with the power of a Series X, and they could also do a mid-gen for the Series X that has a disk drive. Or both developers are gonna hop on the disk drive thing, detachable. Basically, physical media is dying, and it's not a good thing.
No, yeah, it's kind of interesting because let's say if these plans hadn't really changed that much and they stay concrete, you're gonna have Microsoft over here with a all digital mid-gen refresh. I don't know how quickly or if they will at all kind of, phase out the was it the standard Xbox Series X. It'll be really interesting if they actually did phase that out. But they're going all digital. And let's say with PlayStation, they still have their mid-gen refresh is the detachable disc drive. So even though they have a heavy push for digital, you still technically have the option for physical. It's going to be really interesting, especially considering how Xbox has been a big component of backwards compatibility and all of that stuff. Not so much more, not so much now considering the fact that if you gotta, you can't put a physical piece of media up in this thing, no. So it is that makes things really interesting if this is definitely the case. I'm like, what on earth? Dang, and I accidentally popped something up on here that I didn't even mean to pop up on there though. Where the heck did okay, there we go. But yeah, so
Got it.
it's yeah, it's very interesting the fact that they managed to do all of that though. But I think there was one thing that obviously there's a lot of different stuff in this document. I don't have like all the time in the world to actually go ahead and talk and discuss with you about every single thing that's possibly that was shown up in here though. But there were a few interesting statements that actually did manage to kind of come up that I actually did want to kind of address while we're also talking about all of this stuff as well though. But apparently Phil Spencer also said in a statement, and I think some of his emails also leaked out as well though. But Phil Spencer said that Xbox, quote unquote, you know, you know how this goes, but quote unquote, Xbox will leave
Oh,
the gaming business if Game Pass doesn't grow enough by 2027. He said, I can fairly safely say that if we do not make more progress than this off of a console, we will exit the gaming business, he says.
yeah,
Now,
okay.
take all of that with a grain of salt because, you know how people are when they talk about stuff in
That's
emails and
that's
stuff
not
like that.
happening.
But uh, I think
There,
I think
if like
mm,
here's the thing. No, that is literally the most bullshit excuse for a statement I've ever heard. Why would you be in an ongoing battle to buy Activision if you're gonna leave the gaming market?
no, no. See, now this is the thing. There's always the truth. There's there's maybe a potential lie, and somewhere in the middle. I think what he's saying isn't necessarily wrong, if considering if because I always been wondering about this for the
All right.
whole entire time that they've been doing. What was it? Xbox, with their Game Pass and whatnot, though. I just wanna know how much money or how much profits are they really getting by this. I think different developers had different opinions on whether or not, is the Game Pass formula really good or does it devalue their brand? Because then anybody can just be like, "Oh, I can just download this whatever though," instead of having like that premium like Nintendo value where it's like, "Hey, these games are worth $60, so they're worth your time and whatnot though." They have like a little more pristine little value to it or whatnot though. So I was kind of thinking, I'm like, well, I don't know how profitable it is. And then on top of that, when you keep adding stuff from the like the Bethesda I can't even talk now. But since they added Bethesda up in the mix, and now they're adding Activision Blizzard and all of this stuff, like you can only imagine how much money. Obviously, it already cost them, let alone for them to put all those different games up on there. How much more? And we've seen them slowly been doing this. Like they've been doing a little bit of a price increase as well. I mean, we also saw that with Sony with their what was it their PlayStation Plus members as well, though. But I just want to know where that break even point is. It's not like we got the information in any of these documents. Unfortunately, no. But at the same
Yeah.
time, it just makes you think it's like got to be a breaking point with this whole thing. And I think there might be a little bit of truth up in there. Now, the year when he said 2027, obviously that could change. They might got more money, they might got less money. Who knows with Activision Blizzard, whether or not that can actually hold them out for a little bit longer though. But I think there's a little truth into his statement. It might not be the entire truth though. But that's just what I'm kind of thinking.
Yeah, I get you. I disagree. I think he's bullshitting. I think he's bullshitting like crazy.
Hmm.
I don't know. Like they're not I just think it's I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it, Zard. I don't believe that they will leave the console industry because of what because they're not making enough money. This is Microsoft. If they want to make more money, they could just open the money printer that prints money for them that they have.
I mean, yeah,
Like
you're technically
it's
not wrong,
Microsoft.
but then at the same point, Microsoft probably also doesn't want to lose money either. Even though I know they're
Yeah.
technically making money off of this, is it technically worth it for them if they're not getting certain expectation internal numbers that they want to hit? Then just being like, hey, we're just going to shut down this side. That way, we're not losing as much money. We can put the sources and information and resources into doing all these other things that Microsoft has access to. I mean, when you're a big major conglomerate like that, then that's probably what's kind of running in the back of some people's minds, though. It would not surprise me if somebody higher up the Microsoft chain told Phil Spencer, like, "Hey, this little passion project of yours, it's kind of cool and fun and whatnot, though. But hey, you making all these shots over here, though. We expect some
St-
big green up in our pockets. If you're not giving
I
us
get
big
that.
green that's worth our while, then we might have to scale this stuff back. And then not necessarily
But
shut it down. It could be just scale it back.
well, I don't know. I feel like if anything, if they scale anything back, Zard, it will be Game Pass. They're not gonna stop making consoles, though. They're not gonna stop making consoles.
No,
Like
yeah.
that's where I completely disagree with like any statement. They will not stop making consoles because of this. Like if any, I don't know. I just don't see it because like I don't know, PlayStation is their only actual competitor because Switch is just on its own level. Switch, especially from what the rumors about Switch 2 are saying, will never be a true competitor.
I mean, it won't be true in the sense of
I just like
if you're
I
looking
just
at
wanted
raw
to
power. No.
well yeah, but like it
But
would
with
be
the
nice
modern
for Switch to get
conveniences,
some modern
yeah.
games.
No,
I don't
because
know,
I
just
think even
any
even if it had the base power of the PS4 Pro, but then you take advantages of the new technology with Nvidia and their their
yeah,
DSS and
but, but you
upscaling and
could
all of this stuff. I mean, they could polish it
yeah, but
up and make it look
technology this,
good. Yeah.
technology that. It's gonna be good for Nintendo's first party games, but do you really think it's gonna get any actual ports of like multiplat games?
I
No.
mean, then again,
Like,
there's a lot
have
of
you
games that are
seen?
still being made for the PS4, so
I know.
I don't know about
Yeah,
that,
but no, but
Steven.
that's the thing. Zard, people games are still being made for the PS4 now, but that's already starting to stop. You know what I mean? Once again, Nintendo's just too little too late. Where now, literally, just like Final Fantasy just went PS5 exclusive. When's the next game gonna go PS5 exclusive? Spider-Man's going PS5 exclusive. PS5s are no longer hard to find. Like, I just think I think it's coming, Zard. I think the PS4 is on its way out. Even if people can't see it yet, the PS4
I'll
is
believe it. I'll
definitely
believe it when
on.
I see it. All right. But
Yeah.
there was one other interesting talk or one interesting statement that I also found from IGN. They dug through some of this stuff though too. But apparently there was also a court document from the big Xbox leaks that apparently 75% of Xbox Series owners own the cheaper, less powerful Series S than the Series X. I did not think that there's that many people already that are on the all digital side, console wise, versus the people that have the Series X that allows you to play physical media, though. And if you say, let's look at the whole Microsoft umbrella, so you're looking at people that own the Series X, the Series S, we won't mention about past consoles. So let's just talk about, the X, the S, everybody that plays on PC, and then people that might be playing on be on phones or like the Samsung TVs because now you can have Game Pass on it like that. I think a good chunk of Microsoft's fan base now is actually digital. A lot bigger than what we're kind of thought. I didn't even think 75% was like the number for just the consoles, let alone everything else that you can factor up in there, which will make a lot of sense now why they might be releasing their mid-gen refresh as just a all digital system. It wouldn't be as bad considering these numbers we already got right now. Have you even thought about
Yeah,
that?
I I guess it's just it's not a good thought personally. I'd prefer if I'd prefer if they just kept doing what they're doing now because I personally think that right now Xbox is like in a good spot, especially if they get Activision, which they're probably gonna get. Like I don't know.
Hmm.
Like what is really going wrong for them? I guess what Game Pass is not making enough money.
I feel like that's the thing that feel like that's my gut is basically telling me that. They wanna put everybody on it though, but I like at some point, I feel like that balloon's gonna burst. I just don't know when or what's the exact number. They've been kinda secretive behind it. We did manage I think through some of these court cases, we did manage to find out that roughly around the time that this 'cause all of this information was, um was released roughly around 2020, the COVID year. So
Yeah,
it is like a few years old or whatnot at this point though. But at the time, I think they had like roughly about 20 million ish, um, 20 million ish people subscribed to Xbox Game Pass.
yeah.
So take whatever numbers you want, and obviously there's different tiers of it now, but
That's probably why they did the
hmm,
different tiers if they are struggling, I guess.
yeah. Which I have a strong feeling that's probably the reason why. But I think that's it
Maybe.
in terms of most of the stuff console wise. They did manage to have on here that they are gonna release another brand new controller with the mid-gen refresh.
With
And
motion.
yes, that's the major thing right there. I'm like, oh heck yes.
That's
I'm
that's
like
more exciting than the system.
I was like, yes, it's about gosh dang time because Xbox's controllers are really good. Like I have what is it, the Series 2 core something, the thing where you can
Elite.
switch out the Elite controller, Series 2 core,
Did
I
you get the
think.
custom one that you could like design yourself or nah?
No, I didn't do the design yourself. I was like, I ain't gonna put that extra money up in there.
It's
I just got
cool.
I just got like the black and white one. The one that kind of matches my Asus ROG Ally pretty closely though. But I didn't get like the extra step up where you can, switch out the D pads and all that, the extra case and stuff that come with all of that. I didn't go that extra step. But I'm kind of glad I didn't because the controller I have right now is great. But if you're telling me in the future we're gonna get one that actually has gyro built up in it, and then obviously maybe they do an elite version of that one with the gyro in there, then I'm sold because that's the one I really need. Because there's a lot of games out there that probably benefit off of gyro, especially with PC gaming and whatnot, though. And I'm like, I would love to have my hands on that. So I'm actually genuinely excited for this controller or future iterations of it though. So I was like, yes, I'm glad about that. One other interesting thing I'm looking at this little diagram is there's like apparently a lift to wake feature up on here. Like imagine you picking up your controller and it wakes up your Xbox system. That's kind of
I
interesting.
I was gonna say I'm surprised it's not already a feature with something. Like it sounds like it would be a good feature.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be. And I think that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously there's like finer details up in there, but if you were to show this in front of somebody, the things we just mentioned are probably some of the biggest stuff that most people are gonna probably resonate right there. I'm gonna skip this slide. And I think one of the last major things that they kind of we saw in some of this stuff that I want to personally bring up was the fact that they kind of have like a little miniature roadmap of different things they kind of want to achieve by about 2030. And granted, now we're already in 2023 though,
I
but
guess the thing we gotta remember is that these were not supposed to be seen by the public.
yeah. That's the one thing to kind of recognize though. Now, obviously, you have like the mid-gen refreshers and all of that kind of stuff down towards the bottom, more imminent stuff that's either funded, and then as you kind of get up to the top of the pyramid, it's not necessarily funded, but it's something that they kind of have their eyes out on, but it's not like a immediate reality just yet. But when you look at the very top of that pyramid, you will notice that a handheld is actually up on that list. And I'm over here
Yeah,
sitting thinking, I'm like, everybody really wants to cash in on that Switch audience with the hybrid nature. Like
because it
literally,
was a
look,
good idea.
I know
Because
because like,
they know that's the Switch. I was gonna say the Switch kind of is untapped potential. Like if they, I'm pretty sure. Let's be honest, Zard. Microsoft is known for wanting to eliminate the competition. We already know from these exact same leaks they wanted to buy Nintendo again.
yeah, that was the other one I wanted to talk about, but we'll talk about that here in just a second though. But yeah, so literally, like everybody's cashed in, like what you said. So obviously, Switch came up with it first. Right after the Switch, you have all these different PC iterations. You had everything from the Steam Deck with Valve. You have the Asus ROG Ally. I think the newest one on the block is going to be the Logitech or whatnot, though. I have the Asus ROG Ally. It's great. I love it. It's a good way for me to get into PC gaming. But yeah, I see a lot of potential in that. Then you have PlayStation come over here with the PlayStation Portal. That's supposed to be dropping out this holiday. And then maybe some point in the future, if this holds true, then maybe Xbox will kind of come into the fray with their own handheld dedicated device. If they do that, I would imagine it'd be something kind of similar or something akin to Sony's Portal, where it's like it's mostly a Game Pass machine. Maybe it primarily just connects off of the Wi-Fi or wherever you're at, and then just try to access Game Pass or something like that. I feel like that's probably the route they'll probably take. I'll be genuinely surprised if they actually give that thing some storage where you actually could download games and actually play it natively. That'll be kind of a one up from the PlayStation Portal, but that'll be yet to see. That'll probably be years off or whatnot, though. But it's kind of interesting how Xbox is also looking at this as well. It's kind of like reminding me of the Wii days where everybody was kind of trying to copy the Wii's motion sense or whatnot. Though, like Nintendo kind
Yeah,
of struck
they
a
were
little bit of fire,
fools.
so everybody else is trying to cash in on the idea now. So it's kind of funny, history always repeats itself, though. But I think that's it in terms of the slides. But you did mention about the whole Nintendo, not Nintendo, Xbox
Xbox.
trying to buy Nintendo, or particularly Phil Spencer trying to buy Nintendo. But I'll let you go ahead and talk.
Well, yeah, so they said that they, because obviously, I forgot how we found this out, but there was some kind of story how back in the day Nintendo offered to buy Xbox and they were just laughed at. And from these documents in 2020, which 2020 would have definitely been when the Switch was beating Xbox and PlayStation the most, with everyone playing Animal Crossing in lockdown, and how PS5s and all that were so hard to find. Like, what was it like? So Nintendo, the Xbox was like, oh, Nintendo doesn't they basically said Nintendo doesn't know yet that their future lies on other hardware, saying that, basically, we know what's best for Nintendo, which is a very, very stupid thing of him to say.
Really stupid. It made sense during the Wii U era with those numbers that they were
Yeah,
consistently holding
during the
that out, but
Wii,
not them Switch numbers.
like here's the thing, Nintendo does good at making games. Like they make great games, but they wouldn't. I don't know. I just don't think Nintendo's games would be all that remarkable. Like on, if another studio owned them. I feel like maybe it's stupid to say, but I feel like Nintendo is just too traditional to actually care about any offers from anyone else. And it's not like they have no reason to accept it. They're doing good. Aren't they still one of the richest companies in fucking Japan?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Or
definitely.
the richest. I think they're
It's
the
it's it's
richest.
one of the or the richest, yes, but
Yeah,
definitely
like
one of
they're
the top
doing
dogs over
fine.
there.
It's a stupid complaint, is what it
No,
is.
it is dumb. I mean, in some of those leaked emails, he was saying, "Hey, we don't want to do it as a forced hostile takeover. Like they'll still kind of invest, try to probably buy some shares here and there, though." But now it's kind of funny because now all that kind of leaked out right before they went over there to Tokyo Game Show, and then people already started looking at them like, Nintendo's over here looking at Xbox. It's like, the heck did you leak out all this stuff? I think there was also a couple other leaks as well in terms of them saying stuff about the next Nintendo console and some other stuff. There's like there's a lot of stuff to digest out of this stuff. A lot more than I had the time to actually sit down and kind of do it all in like one video right here though. But nonetheless, oh shoot. I know Phil Spencer was beating himself up on the head. There was even some other emails that he managed to send out saying, "Hey, unfortunately we had some stuff leak out. It's not the way how we want to present stuff to our players and all this stuff. Some, kind of some other personal PR stuff within, actual company itself though. But this is all some interesting stuff and kind of gave us a good idea of kind of what to expect from Xbox kind of moving forward, I would say within the future right here though. So if you were to kind of look at I would say maybe the next console that will come after the I would say the next console will come after the Xbox Series X family of systems, whatever you want to call that. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right now. I don't think the next system is even gonna remotely come with a disk drive for both PlayStation as well as Xbox. I'm just gonna go ahead
Well,
and call it
no.
right now.
If place,
I just don't
I
think
think
they're gonna do it.
I think PlayStation will keep discs. That's
So
what
you're
I
so
think.
you're
I
calling
feel like,
PlayStation
well,
keep disc
because
and Xbox will go
yeah,
ahead and move
because
over.
Xbox has always had this weird fascination with like without the disc. Remember when the Xbox One was being like teased? Remember all those rumors about Xbox One being an online only system back in the day and all this shit? Do you remember any
Yeah.
of those? The rumors about that thing having no disk drive started all the way back then. But at the same time, you also got to remember that the Series X, like they really do love to boast about that Xbox 360 backwards compatibility, the Xbox backwards compatibility. Like why would they go out of their way to like make so many games compatible to completely abandon a disk drive next generation? I don't like it. I
Yeah,
don't think
I
it's a
I
good
don't I
idea.
don't like it either. But I think this is where we're kind of at with Xbox right now, especially since they have such a big digital following. Where really all these companies, that's where they really want us at, so they can kind of control the markets to begin with.
That's
So it's
how it
like,
works.
yeah, it's like, hey,
Economics.
the way how they control it, if they can control and have everybody and their mama buy digital games, because that's the only way how you can get it. And you can only get it off of Xbox storefront or Nintendo's or Sony's or whatnot, though. Then guess what? There's no secondhand market no more. If you want to play the game, you got to go to the actual, you know, the company themselves and buy it from them. And then even then, they can kind of control when you can and can't play it. You won't have no more leaks and all that stuff. It's ideal from the business side of things. It's just kind of bad from the consumer side because, especially considering how, you're at the mercy of the whim of, when they decide to put games on sale and when they don't. So it's a lot of stuff to progress. It's a lot of stuff to process right there. A lot of stuff to process, but it's gonna be an interesting future, whether we like it or not. Oh shoot. All right, so I think that's pretty much it in terms of the Xbox stuff, and we're gonna be close to wrapping things up. The show is kind of running a little bit longer than what I thought I was gonna have it running though. But the very last thing I wanted to talk about was literally some of the stuff that was kind of announced at Tokyo Game Show. Which the main thing I want to kind of take away from this is why the freaking heck we have. I'm looking at that list at Wario64 he put up on Twitter. There's literally like a span of a week where 9 different games are dropping out. I was like, "Oh, shoot." I was like, "These gaming companies have lost their gosh dang mind." I'm trying to pull that mess up right now for you, Steven, because like, this was this mess
It's
was
like
crazy.
Persona 3, Like a Dragon. What else? I don't know, man. There's a lot, yeah.
Hold on. I'm trying to dang it. I really want to pull that up because that was a whole lot of. I'm gonna have to do probably a decent amount of scrolling to get to it though. But from the top of my memory, yes, I do know it was. Dang, I'm really surprised I did not save that link. One of them was Tekken 8. Another one was the newly announced Capcom trilogy with the Apollo Justice series. Another one is Yakuza Like a Dragon. Another one is what was it? Oh shoot, it's about to slip. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Another one is Persona 3 Reload. And then there's like a few other ones I can't think of off the top of my head. And I'm like, wait a minute, why is all this stuff trying to drop out within the span of 1 week? And especially considering how the fact that it's early, I was basically January rolling into like those first couple of days of February. I'm like, man, I was like, why on earth did they put all that mess down in one single week?
Because they want to make us suffer.
No, it's not right, man. It's not right. It's not right. It's just not
Yeah,
right.
it's not.
Dang, I
They
was
don't
really
care though, do they?
no, they really don't. And I was looking at this, I'm like, I just don't know. I'm gonna have to make some sacrifices because I really wanted to play Yakuza Infinite Wealth. I really want to play that on launch. But the fact that it's coming out 1 week before Grand Blue Fantasy and Persona 3 Reload, I'm like, I'm gonna have to put off one of these games because unfortunately I'm just not gonna be able to fit everything up in there. I'm just like, gosh dang it. So I think I'm gonna put that game series off. I will still pick up the Apollo Justice 4, 5, and 6 when that comes out. I'll see if I can get through one of those games real quick. But I know I won't be able to get through like all three of them or nothing like that. And then I guess when Grand Blue and Persona come out, I think I'll play Persona first. And then you know Final Fantasy Rebirth that comes at the end of February. I'm like, what on earth?
A lot of
This is dumb.
games.
This is dumb right here.
A
This is
lot of
truly dumb.
games. And I think, yeah, that's all I gotta say, honestly. It's just a lot of games and not a lot of time. And like on one hand, it's great like having so much stuff come out. On the other hand, my wallet, please let my wallet rest.
And that's the problem too, because I have a lot of stuff that I wanted to get that were either like found the gosh dang tweet. A lot of things that I wanted to get that had like limited edition. So I finally found it. So Apollo Justice Ace Attorney trilogy. Under Night in Birth 2, whatever that is. Tekken 8, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, Persona 3 Reload, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League all come out within the span of approximately a week. And out of all those games that I just mentioned right there, I want to get four of them. Like a Dragon, Persona 3, Grand Blue, and the Ace Attorney Apollo Justice thing. And I'm like, there's just not enough hours in the day for me to do this. I really need my own hyperbolic time chamber for all this mess, though. I'm like,
Hyperbolic time chamber.
yes, because I'm like, what the heck? Oh, and it's kind of funny because I don't know if you saw this, but with the Ace Attorney things, there's actually a green screen mode up in that thing. So you can actually make some a pretty good either interesting thumbnails if someone's like streaming a series or pretty good meme edits or whatnot though.
Oh
So
well, yeah, no, it's a good feature. I'm glad it's in.
yeah.
Definitely cool.
Yeah, so honestly there's some really good stuff like that. And then obviously we had a lot of good updates from I was about to say Persona. Well, technically yes. But a lot of good updates from oh goodness, I can't even think right now. A lot of good updates from Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. And oh shoot, man, I'm ready for this game. They started talking about, there's technically hundreds of hours of content up in there. Once you kind of get the ball rolling up in there, there's a lot of different areas you're actually able to go through and explore. There's gonna be a lot of interesting mini games and stuff like that. They kind of gave us the expectations of certain party members that we can expect to play as. Some maybe not in this game, but they'll be coming in their part 3. obviously, you have Square Enix joking around saying, I know there's some moments that people are dying to see or something like that. I'm like, oh man, don't go and messing with that. Y'all mess up and kill the wrong person. I'm just saying, y'all gonna have a ride up on y'all's hands though. But yeah, there was also there's a lot of people that managed to go hands on and play a lot of the different games and stuff like that though. There was like one segment Square Enix happened to tweet out. I think it's like a new um what is it? Oh, what would you call that? A new arrangement of like the Sephiroth theme. I think it's new because
What,
I
One
don't
Winged
think
Angel?
yeah,
Maybe.
I had to
I
send it
think
to you.
I think the one in a remake is called One Winged Angel Rebirth, if that's what it's called.
No, but I feel
That's
like
so
but I feel like the theme in Rebirth for this little segment that is showed off on the show floor is a little different from the one we heard in remake. I want to say it didn't sound exactly the same. But it was
maybe.
pretty sick though. It was real sick though. But man, but after seeing all this stuff announced in Tokyo Game Show, I feel like for most of the stuff in Tokyo Game Show, it's just more so about showing more footage of the game and giving us release dates. And I hate a lot of these release dates. I really do because now it's like for me personally in January, I know I wanted to get the Prince of Persia game. Remember how me and you, Stephen, both said we wanted to get that game?
Yeah, I'm interested still.
And
Very
then there's
interested.
their Ace Attorney thing that I want to get, and there's Yakuza Like a Dragon. That's 3 games in the month of January. And then in February, then there's like Persona 3 Reload, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, and the oh gosh, I can't even think. And Final Fantasy
You're gonna
7 Rebirth.
I was to say you're gonna get it.
Oh, I was about to say, and out of all of that stuff, I already got like limited editions or deluxe editions for FF7, Persona 3 Reload, and Grand Blue Fantasy. They trying to kill my wallets in early January or February. I have not seen an insane lineup like this right out the gate within like the first 2 months, right after Christmas. I'm like, what on earth is this? Holy dude. Whew. But outside of that, did you see any other cool things at Tokyo Game Show? I just needed to rant about all these release dates because this is getting a little dumb.
So I didn't really see much. I'm pretty sure some stuff was playable, like
Yes,
Rebirth and
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
like wasn't Spider-Man 2 playable? Not at this, but like at something else.
Oh, they did like a media event where they're able to get impressions or previews. Previews, that's what it's called. Previews on it. And that was, I want to say maybe a week or two ago. It was like shortly right around when that state of play happened. It was a little before the
Just
state of
sucks
play,
that
I think. Yeah.
games nowadays hardly get demos.
Yeah. I mean, I think the main reason why is because, hey, if you release a demo, you could get some people hyped about it. But let's say it's a game that's kind of on the fence of whether or not people will like it or not. If you give them a demo and they don't like it, that's a lost sale. If you don't give
I
them the demo,
guess.
then guess what? They have to buy it and then they're kind of already stuck with the game. I think that's the business decision of why some games get demos and some games don't. Or slash sometimes you have to release demos because it's so obscure or such a small game, like definitely with indie games, that's how you kind of bring in an audience like that. So it's like one extreme or the other determines whether or not you're going to get a demo. And if you're somewhere in the middle, more than likely you might not. At least that's
Yeah,
just the way how I kind of view it.
I get that.
Whew. All right.
Uh,
Well,
I
you
have
got
nothing
anything
else
else?
to say about video games now.
All right, that's exactly what I was about to ask you about because now, considering how long we've been running on this podcast, we did a little bit of overtime up on this mess though. But that is all I have to go through and talk about and discuss within tonight's podcast episode. Oh shoot, I told y'all it was gonna be a long one, and I told you it was gonna be a good one, but there was a lot of stuff. Couldn't even hit on all the points we probably wanted to hit on, or we'll be here all night. Because I know Steven, you wanted to say some more things about the Nintendo Direct, but I think we hit like a lot of the good major points we wanted to hit on that. I wanted to say a few things about that state of play. Obviously, it was a good chunk of the Xbox stuff and managed to leak. So I definitely wanted to cover that because I was kind of leaning on the fence whether I was going to do a video on that or not. I think I managed to strike a happy medium covering the podcast, and I might snippet some of this part out and actually make a dedicated video from the segment of the podcast with
I
Steven here,
get
though.
you.
But yeah, so honestly, a lot of good stuff that happened within this past couple of weeks, though. But I'm ready to chill. That was a lot of stuff to digest within a couple of weeks. So I imagine at the Tokyo Game Show, things are going to be kind of calm for the most part until we get to that week where all these October games are about to drop. And then I think it's gonna start picking up once again though. But I think that's all I have to say. But Steven, let the fine people know where they can find you at.
So you can find me on Twitter at Steven Jr. 1231. I don't do much usually. I'm just here. I just do stuff.
Alrighty. Well, and yeah, that's gonna basically do it for this podcast episode. So, like always, whether you be listening to this off of the YouTube version side, make sure to go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell. That way you never miss any time I happen to go live here with a podcast. Remember, I usually go live here on these podcasts at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, usually every other Sunday night is usually when I do this mess though. So you can kind of keep an eye out. Some point on Sunday, I usually throw up the stream in preparation for when I'm about to go live though. But if you happen to be watching this on one of my podcast servers, make sure to go and hit the like button. Go ahead and share this podcast around. You know, I'm just a dude having to gather up a few friends here and there, just having to talk a lot about video game stuff and pop culture stuff and basically everything else in between, though. But that's going to basically do it in terms of this video, though. So, remember, y'all, until whatever video I make next and until my next ZardCast episode, that being my ZardCast episode 64, I'll see y'all later.